energy purchase agreements. Our dear viewers, if you're just asking yourself about the rationale of the Energy Amendment Bill of the year 2023, the rationale is for disclosure of the beneficial ownership information to create an accurate public disclosure regime that provides for transparency in the beneficial ownership as well as control structures of energy companies. The bill aids in not only promoting investor confidence and good corporate governance practices, but also uncovering tax evasion schemes, money laundering practices, and corruption schemes. If you're just joining us, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Dr. Moses Wetangula, is in the chambers this afternoon. Allow me to hand over for this live broadcast. My name is Gladys Mungai. Enjoy your viewing.
Mheshimiwa, tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu ambaye kwa hekima na wema wako umetoa nyadhifa za viongozi na mabunge kwa ustawi wa jamii na utawala wa haki wa wanadamu. Tukusihi utazame kwa neema nyingi sisi watumishi wako ambao wameridhika kutuita tutekeleze shughuli muhimu za jamhuri yetu. Tukuomba uteremshie baraka zako sisi tuliokutanika hapa na utujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote atakayofikisha mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako siendelezwe na ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao wamezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Do we have quorum? Yeah. Sergeant, ring the quorum bell.
The Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Dr. Moses Wetangula, currently presiding over the business of the National Assembly, has directed into terms to ring the quorum bell. And this directive is guided by the House Standing Orders number 34 on matters quorum. At the moment, the House is experiencing a small quorum hitch that will be rectified any moment from now by the members present within the presence of Parliament, making their way into the chamber this afternoon to allow the House to properly quorate. The National Assembly needs at least 50 members for the House to commence the consideration of a number of business before it, the business being motions, petitions, as well as statements. As we await for that quorum to be attained, our dear viewers, allow me to keep taking you through the highlights of the agenda prioritized during today's afternoon sitting of the National Assembly. And remember, you can also watch this live broadcast courtesy of our YouTube channels, and that is Parliament of Kenya, as well as on KBC Channel 1. And you can follow this live proceedings courtesy of our Signet channel, and that is Bunge TV on Signet. The National Assembly will be considering the petition regarding the banning of TikTok in Kenya. This was a petition done to the National Assembly, and the Committee on Public Petitions delved into this request by the petitioner for the Parliament of Kenya to consider banning the platform called Tik Tok. So this motion is coming up for consideration by the chairperson. The consideration is by the National Assembly, and the motion is being done.
Honorable members, we now have quorum to transact business. Clerk.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Pass on their feet, take your seats. DK, take the nearest seat. Honorable members, allow me to recognize a delegation from the Somali regional state in the Federal Republic of Ethiopia. Honorable members, I wish to introduce to you a delegation from the Somali regional state in the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, seated in the Speaker's row. They are His Excellency Ibrahim Farah, Vice President, Somali Regional State Head of Delegation. His Excellency Ambassador Basha Debele Buta, Ambassador of Ethiopia to Kenya. Dr. Hussein Kazim, Chief of Cabinet. Mr. Ahmed Weli Shamake, President, Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Abdi Mahdi, Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Mohammed Omer, Chamber of Commerce and Deputy President of Somali Region. Mr. Yassin Osman, Chamber of Commerce. Honorable members, the delegation accompanied by 2 officers is on a visit to our Parliament to learn from various committees of the National Assembly and network with members of Parliament. On my behalf and that of the National Assembly, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them fruitful engagements and enjoyable stay in our beautiful country. I also wish to allow the Honorable Major Bashir to lead the House into welcoming them. Major Bashir, you have...
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also wish to take this opportunity to welcome His Excellency, the Vice President of the Somali region of Ethiopia and his delegation. You are most welcome to Kenya and this Parliament. I'm sure your engagement with Kenyans will make prosperity for both our countries. And we wish you all the best as you stay and make engagements with fellow Kenyans and fellow lawmakers. Most importantly, you know, Kenya and Ethiopia have good relationship over the years, and we expect the same to continue. Honorable Speaker, in the near future, the Kenya government is also engaging to tap power from that side so that Mandera can get connected to the grid. And so we appreciate that that power line will pass through the region and pass our regards to His Excellency the President. You are most welcome.
Jeanette.
Mr. Speaker, I also would like to join Honorable Bashir in welcoming the Vice President of the Region 5 of the Somali region, Mr. Speaker of Ethiopia. Mr. Speaker, Ethiopia is the next frontier of business. And as you know, we have a long border with the Ethiopian country. Mr. Speaker, for those of us who traveled to Addis Ababa, the others who went just because of that AU elections, Mr. Speaker, they have seen how Addis Ababa has changed. Addis Ababa now is the new Dubai of Africa, Mr. Speaker. We have a lot of lessons to learn from that country on how they have developed that city to a modern city, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, that city grew in less than 10 years to what it is, Mr. Speaker. If you can walk in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. when we were there, Mr. Speaker, in that city without any fear of your security, of your belongings or anything, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, that instead of doing a benchmarking in Europe or America or anywhere else in the world or in Singapore or wherever you want to go, Mr. Speaker, we need to do a benchmarking on how to develop a city in Addis Ababa, Mr. Speaker. This is also a country with a population of 100 billion people. Investors from Kenya have gone there, led by Safaricom. Mr. Speaker, the Safaricom has 30 million clients, for example, in Kenya. In 5 years, they have gotten 20 million customers in Ethiopia in 5 years. And here, in 20 years, they got 30 million people. Mr. Speaker, we want to urge the Ethiopian government to open up their financial sector so that Kenyans can go and invest there and Ethiopians can come and invest there. Mr. Speaker, that is going to be the biggest economy in Africa in the next 5 years. And I want to congratulate the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed, for the good work he's doing in that country, as much as Kenya is also doing, and I want to invite them to join the East African community so that trade can be seamless between Kenya and Ethiopia, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a country that has not been colonized ever in their life, so they know what freedom is. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge, as Kenya, we have a port through the Lapset, the Lamu, South Sudan corridor. Mr. Speaker, that port should be dedicated to the Ethiopian country of 130 million people, because that port is going to serve the Ethiopian people the way they want it, and we should give it to them, Mr. Speaker. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, Ethiopia has the cheapest electricity in Africa, and God has put us as their neighbors. Mr. Speaker, we should import from that country a lot of electricity because electricity is expensive in our country. With those few remarks, I want to welcome the delegation from Ethiopia, led by the Vice President, that this is your second home. You can come here anytime you feel like. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wanted to break the monotony so that it doesn't look like this delegation is being welcomed by only members from the Somali region in Kenya. Although Honorable Junet, the leader of minority, is a Luo Somali. is officially...
Yes, Junet, what is it?
Mr. Speaker, you know this is a house of record. And I think somebody has sent the majority leader to destroy my political career. Mr. Speaker, I'm a Somali by birth, but I have ceased to be one long time ago politically. So please, be careful.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was correcting only that he did listen, that although he was born a Somali, he's a Luo. He's an assimilated Luo and naturalized Luo. And allow me, Honorable Speaker, also to welcome this delegation from Somaliland. And as Honorable Bashir and the leader of minority have said, from the Somali region in Ethiopia, that to re-emphasize what they have already said, that Ethiopia remains a very critical partner to our nation. And Honorable Speaker, not just in terms of trade in the issues that the Honorable has spoken to, but also in food security. Ethiopia is not just giving us power, but also helping us with food security, Honorable Speaker. Almost 50% of the beans that we consume in this country comes from Ethiopia. And a bit of wheat and barley that comes from Ethiopia. And definitely, Honorable Speaker, even meat, because I'm a trader in meat, there's a lot of beef cattle that comes from Ethiopia and finds its way to our dinner tables in this country. And as we welcome this delegation, we want to request you to continue deepening and tightening the relationship between our country and your country. And as much as we compete on the athletics field, that we compete, and when we win, cheers as much as we cheer you when you win on the athletics field. But it is possible to integrate our region and grow together, grow our economies together. Safaricom, that is a Kenyan company, is doing well in Ethiopia, and as the leader of minority has requested, we would pray to a time when you completely open up the financial services sector in your country to allow even fintechs, because Kenya is a home of technology. Kenya is a home of very innovative young men and women who can invest in your country, and we look forward to the opening up of your economy to get more fintechs and people investing in the financial service sector in the Ethiopian economy. Because being a big country with a huge population, it has a very good potential of creating a good market for Kenyan businesses, and also the same way that your farmers are benefiting from the Kenyan economy in a big way. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I welcome that delegation.
Para. 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I join my colleagues in welcoming the delegation from the Somali region of Ethiopia. Mr. Speaker, it's now 60+ years since we got independence. and more important than anything else, is the need for us to have a people-to-people integration. And the only way to do that is for the countries in the region to open up, so that this potential that essentially extends all the way from Sudan, Eritrea, Somalia, Djibouti, Kenya, Ethiopia, and the wider East Africa. Mr. Speaker, can you protect me from Junet and his colleagues here? Junet. Mr. Speaker.
Order, you're out of order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are looking at that kind of an economy. We are looking at an economy that is probably the size of Europe, both in terms of population and in terms of resources. And once we are all able to open up all those countries, about 11 of them, and then create what we call both we remove all the tariff and non-tariff barriers to trade and movement. We also have a democracy in all those countries and systems in which we can relate to one another. I think we will consign poverty and underdevelopment in Africa to history. So thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
I am also promoting that, and I want to see the wider integration of the Horn of Africa and the East African community. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll stop there. Allow me, honorable members, to also acknowledge in the Speaker's Gallery Kwale Girls High School from Matuga in Kwale, Iku Girls High School from Chuka Igambangombe, Tharaka Nithi, and in the public gallery, Othaya Boys High School from Othaya Nyeri, and Kangema Boys High School from Kangema in Muranga. I have been requested by Honorable Masito, the women rep for Kwale, to welcome the school from her county, and you can do so with all the schools on behalf of your colleagues.
Basi nishukuru sana Mheshimiwa Spika, na niwashukuru wanafunzi wote ambao wameweza kufika katika bunge hili la kitaifa leo hii kuweza kujionea au kusoma mambo ambayo yanaendelea katika bunge hili na wabunge wao vile wanavyofanya kazi. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni jambo la kutia moyo ukiona vijana wadogo hao wamejikakamua kutoka sehemu tofauti, lakini kuhakikisha wanataka kujua yale yanayosibu au yale yanayoendelea, na kuona wajumbe wao wakati wanatengeneza sheria ambazo zinawahusu wao na zinahusu taifa hili. Wanafunzi, niwaambie kupitia kwa Mheshimiwa Spika, ni elimu peke yake ndio itaweza kutofautisha au kuweka sawa maisha ya mtoto wa kimaskini na mtoto wa kitajiri. Muzidi kutia bidii kwa sala la elimu. Hakuna kitu chengine ambacho kitawafaa. Hakuna urathi wengine ambao kama wazazi tutawaachia nyinyi watoto isipokuwa elimu. Niseme karibuni sana katika bunge hili, na karibuni Kanairo. Huku kunaitwa Kanairo. Ukifika huku hausemi Nairobi, unasema Kanairo. Kwa hivyo karibuni sana, na niseme asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Kanairo.
Thank you, Masito. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome all the students and those accompanying them and their teachers to the House of Parliament. Next order.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think this is my first time to appear in this House this year, and I want to wish everybody a happy parliamentary year.
Very good.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 17th February 2026. A, the legal notice number 4 of 2026 relating to the consolidated music and audio-visual works tariffs, the report on the public participation and the certificates of compliance with the Statutory Instruments Act 2013 from the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports. B, Auditor General's report on national government for the financial year 2024-2025. C, Auditor General's report on the national government funds for the financial year 2024-2025. D, Intergovernmental partnership agreement between national government through the Ministry of Education and county government of Kwale. E, Intergovernmental partnership agreement between national government through the Ministry of Education and the county government of Tana River. And F, reports of the Auditor General financial statements on the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for the year 30th June 2025 and the certificates therein in respect of the following constituencies. 1. Aina Moi, Baringo Central, Bobasi, Bomachoga Chache, Bomet Central, Bomet East, Bonchari, Borabu, Budalangi, Chepalungu, Chesumei, Embakasi Central, Embakasi South, Embakasi West, Engwen, Edebes, Funyula, Gatundu South, Gilgil, Isiolo South, Jomvu, Juja, Kabete, Kabondo Kasipul, Kaloleni, Kandui, Kasipul, Kapseret, Karachuonyo, Kasarani, Keyo North, Keyo South, Kuresoi North, Keses, Kikuyu, Kipkelion West, Kirinyaga Central, Kisumu Central, Kisumu East, Kitui Rural, Kitui South, Kitutu Chache North, Kitutu Masaba, Kwanza, Laisamis, Lari, Likoni, Luanda, and at number 15, Lunga Lunga. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay. Thank you very much.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Chairperson, Public Petitions Committee. Karemba.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the report of the Public Petitions Committee on its consideration of a public petition number 76 of 2023 regarding discrimination by the Teachers Service Commission on career progression guidelines for special needs education teachers in Kenya, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 19th November 2025. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chairperson, Committee on Delegated Legislation, Vice Chair Gishimu.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the privileges and immunities, the Global Center for Adaptation Order published as a legal notice number 82 of 2025, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 4th December 2025, and declares that the privileges and immunities, the Global Center for Adaptation under legal notice number 82 of 2025, nullity for failing to comply with Section 17 of the Privileges and Immunities Act, Cap 175, that requires the regulating making authority to submit the draft order for approval by Parliament before publication of the order, and infringing on Article 94, Sub-Article 6 of the Constitution relating to the principles, and Section 13A of the Statutory Instruments Act, Cap 2A. I beg to give notice of motion, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairperson, Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee. Who is the chair of that committee? Mulyungi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to move the following motions, 6 of them on the floor of the House. Number 1, Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the 7th report of the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the audited accounts of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund Board for the financial years 2016-17 to 2021-22 laid on the table of the House on Tuesday.
Order.
On Tuesday.
Muriungi, order. You read every word as printed.
Yes.
No shortcuts.
For the financial years 2016-17 to 2021-22 laid
You
on
are
the...
out of order. Read every word as printed.
That's
what I have.
Okay. Maybe,
what I have reads
maybe,
2016-2017, 2017-2018, 2018-2019, in that order.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 2016-2017, 2017-2018, 2018-2019, 2019-2020, 2021-2022. Laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 2nd of December, 2025.
You've skipped 2020-2021.
2020-2021, 2021-2022.
Yes.
Number 2, Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion that this House adopts the 8th report of the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the audited accounts of the National Government Affirmative Action Fund for the financial years 2016-2017, 2017-2018, 2018-2019, 2019-2020, 2020-2021, 2021-2022, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 2nd of December, 2025. Number 3, Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion that this House adopts the 9th report of the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the audited accounts of the National Government Constituency Development Fund for constituencies in Nakuru County for the financial years 2013-2014, 2014-2015, 2015-2016, 2016-2017, 2017-2018, 2018-2019, 2019-2020, 2020-2021, 2021-2022, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 2nd of December, 2025. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion that this House adopts the 10th report of the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the audited accounts of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for Lari, Lurambi, Embakasi Central, Kilifi North, and the Muvita constituencies for the financial years 2016-2017, 2017-2018, 2018-2019, 2019-2020, 2020-2021, 2021-2022, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 2nd of December, 2025. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion that this House adopts the 11th report of the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the audited accounts for the National Government Constituency Development Fund for West Mugirango, Bobasi, Awendo, North Imendi, Kirinyaga Central, South Mugirango, Ugenya, Kieni, Kipipiri, Budalangi, and Kiaru constituencies for the financial years 2013-2014, 2014-2015, 2015-2017, 2017-2018, 2018-2019, 2019-2020, 2020-2021, 2021-2022, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 4th of December, 2025. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion that this House adopts the 12th report of the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the audited accounts of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for constituencies in Uasin Gishu, Nandi, Baringo, and Bomet constituencies for the financial years 2013-2014, 2014-2015, 2015-2016, 2016/2017, 2017/2018, 2018/2019, 2019/2020, 2020/2021, 2021/2022, and 2022/2023, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 4th of December, 2025. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Mliungi. Next.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Kandia, is it Kandia who has a statement? Member for Baringo Central. Kandia, go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Pursuant to provision of Standing Order 42C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the issuance of work permits to foreign nationals. Honorable Speaker, in this era of rapidly expanding international trade and integration of world economies, migration policies must be geared towards building and maintaining a fair opportunity platform for both nationals and foreigners, while protecting vulnerable groups and ensuring sustainable development of the local human resource. While expatriates contribute to the transfer of knowledge, investment, and skill development, it is imperative that their engagement in the local job market does not undermine employment opportunities for qualified Kenyan citizens, especially the youth. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. 1, a report on the number of foreign nationals who have been issued with work permits in Kenya, indicating the duration of the work permits for the last 5 years. 2nd, a report on the status of all foreign nationals in Kenya whose permits have expired as at January 2026, and an indication of actions being taken by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration to identify, monitor, legally remove foreign nationals illegally working in the country following expiry of their permits. And 3, the steps being taken by the ministry to ensure foreigners are not issued with work permits for skills that are readily available in the local labor force in order to reduce unemployment rate among Kenyans. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Tongoyo, that is your committee. When can you bring a response?
We can do in 2 weeks' time, Honorable Speaker. No, these are some of the statements that lapsed were asked in the 4th session.
Yes.
Yeah, so 2 weeks is enough.
Okay, next. First call out order number 9. We dispose of the question.
Order number 9, the Industrial Training Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 50 of 2024, second reading. Question to be put.
Members on their feet, take your seats. Take your seats. Member for Muhoroni, take your seats. Phyllis Barto, take your seat, the nearest to you. Honorable members, I'll now put the question at order number 9, which is that the Industrial Training Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 50 of 2024 be now read a second time. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Industrial Training Act and for connected purposes.
Next.
Order number 8, procedural motion, extension of a period for consideration of 2 statutory instruments.
Gishimo. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that pursuant to the provisions of Section 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act, Cap 2A, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the following statutory instruments by a period of 14 days with effect from 17 February 2026.
Order, Gishimo. Read the motion and move it as is listed on the order paper. There's a variance of what you are saying and what is on the order paper. Start afresh.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm well updated now. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that pursuant to the provisions of Section 15, subsection 3 of the Statutory Instruments Act, Cap 2A, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the following statutory instruments by a period of 21 days with effect from 17 February 2026. 1, the Kenya Loans Board Fund Additional Funding Regulation 2025 Legal Notice number 156 of 2025, and 2, the National Police Service Commission Retirement and Appointment Regulation 2025 Legal Notice number 159 of 2025. Honorable Speaker, this is just a procedural motion to seek to extend the period for consideration of the 2 sets of regulations as listed. And Honorable Speaker, the first one on the Kenya Loans Bond Fund Additional Funding Regulation 2025 Legal Notice number 156 of 2025. Honorable Speaker, this is a matter that was scheduled for consideration before the committee today, and the CS responsible for matters transport and roads, CS Churchill, was meant to appear before the committee today. However, as it is a matter of common knowledge, there is an ongoing strike by the KCAA staff. And Honorable Member, that is a matter of great national importance and even great national security in terms of the flights. Honorable Speaker, that strike has even affected a number of members of this House because they were not able even to travel back to Nairobi from the constituency, including the chair of the Committee on Delegated Legislation. And Honorable Speaker, we felt that it is important to seek approval of this House for the extension of the period for us to be able, as a committee, to consider that set of regulation. Honorable Speaker, the second set of regulation also a matter of common knowledge and judicial notice that there has been a case involving the National Police Service and some other people in respect of the regulations for recruitment and appointments. And Honorable Speaker, today, having been the last day to consider the matters, and having been the very first day that we came from, or resumed from the recess, and also considering that there were changes in the leadership of the clerks of the committees,
this is the only day that we are able to resume, and we are not able to consider these regulations. Honorable Speaker, that is why we are also seeking this Honorable Court's approval for extension of the period so that we can consider these two very important sets of regulations, Honorable Speaker. And without belaboring the point, it's a very straightforward motion. It's a procedural motion, and I beg to move and request Honorable Member for Kadiani, Honorable Robert Bui, to second.
Hold on, what's the point of order, Bukosi?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you know Honorable Kishimu, the Vice Chair, made a statement that the strike is still on. But I'm aware that the strike has ended and the operations have resumed. So I think the member needs to have been updated on that.
He said in the morning when the minister was supposed to appear before them,
yes,
he was engaged with the strike matters. The strike may be off now, but in the morning it wasn't.
But he needed to update that the strike is all off now.
Maybe
so
he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. How he's informed. Yes. Robert Mbui.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the procedural motion for extension of time for consideration of those two sets of regulations, because we just come from a long recess, and Mr. Speaker, the time between tabling and the consideration kind of lapsed when we were on recess. And so that we can do justice to these two regulations, it would make sense that we get a bit more time so that we can be able to address it. Mr. Speaker, I can tell you that within 2 weeks, we'll definitely have sorted out this matter. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I second.
Thank you. Order members on their feet. Take your seats. Members on their feet, take your seats. Deputy Speaker, take your seats. Honorable members, I now propose the question at order number 8, which is that, pursuant the provisions of Section 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act, Cap 2A, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the following statutory instruments by a period of 21 days with effect from 17th February 2026. 1. The Kenya Roads Board Fund, Additional Funding Regulations 2025, Legal Notice number 156 of 2025. And 2. The National Police Service Commission Recruitment and Appointment Regulations 2025, Legal Notice number 159 of 2025. Do we put the question? I'll now put the question, honorable members, at order number 8, which is that, pursuant to the provisions of Section 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act, Cap 2A, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the following statutory instruments by a period of 21 days with effect from 17th February 2026. 1. The Kenya Roads Board Fund, Additional Funding Regulations 2025, Legal Notice number 156 of 2025, and 2, the National Police Service Commission Recruitment and Appointment Regulations 2025, Legal Notice number 159 of 2025. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. With those of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next.
Order number 10, Committee of the Whole House.
Before that, so rescind that call to order number 10. Yes, the Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I wanted to beg your indulgence on this order number 10 on Committee of the Whole House, because there are quite a number of amendments that have been proposed to this Judge's Retirement Bill, and which we have agreed with the Honorable Chair, Honorable Murugara, to just consolidate all those amendments and agree so that we do not have too many amendments that may negate the intent of this bill. And we have an agreement that we will be able to do that today and tomorrow, so that we finalize with this Committee of the Whole House on this bill before the end of this week. Therefore, I wanted your indulgence to drop this from the order paper today. to a later time in the course of this week.
Murugara.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I do confirm that is the position. We have quite a number of amendments proposed, and even another one is actually being worked on by the Secretariat, and we need just a little more time, and a day or two we'll have finalized, and we'll be able to prosecute the third reading of the bill. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I concede to the request and order that the matter be stayed and be placed on the order paper on Thursday this week in the afternoon sitting at 2:30. Try and finish up with what you are doing. Next.
Order number 11, the Energy Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 42 of 2023, second reading.
Before we go to that, Korere.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I rise on a point of order under the standing orders regarding the dishonorable remarks made by Honorable Member of Kitutu Churches South, the Honorable Anthony Kibagendi, MP, touching on the authority and impartiality of the Speaker and Presidium of this National Assembly. Honorable Speaker, the Speakership of this August House of Parliament, presently held by yourself, embodies the authority, dignity, and integrity of the National Assembly of Kenya. Therefore, any attack, direct or implied, on the office of the Speaker is not just attack on you, Honorable Speaker, but is indeed an attack on this House itself. Indeed, our standing orders and long-standing Commonwealth parliamentary tradition require that all members show utmost respect and honors to the chair. Failure to do so is not only detrimental to the dignity of the Presidium, but also undermines the order, decorum, and the credibility of the House and its proceedings. Honorable Speaker, it is despicable that, conscious of the revered position of the Speaker of the House, the Honorable Member for Kitutu Churches South, the Honorable Anthony Kibagendi MP, who in the course of his contributions made in platforms outside the floor of this House, made remarks that were disparaging to the office of the Speaker and the Presidium of this Honorable House. For the record, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Kibagendi made remarks to the effect that you, Honorable Speaker, have auctioned the House. These remarks are quite contemptible, given that we all know very well that the Speaker presides over the House on the principle of impartiality and is guided by the rules of the House. Commonwealth traditions further, the decisions that the Speaker pronounces are not his, they are decisions made by the House, in which the Speaker neither has a say nor a vote. Honorable Speaker, I therefore seek your guidance and intervention on this matter, particularly on whether the Honorable Kibagendi ought to continue to sit in this House and in its committees, as he should be held accountable for his disparaging remarks. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think on the behalf of the members of Parliament, we want to just say that we take great exception of the words used and the statements made by Honorable Kibagendi while on Citizen TV this morning. I think he has acted in a disorderly manner. He has cast aspersions on the character of the Speaker, the character of the Deputy Speaker, and the character of the entire Presidium. He has also tried to ruin the name of Parliament.
Yes,
he has said things that he's unable to substantiate.
Order. Wanjala, what's the point of order?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The issue the Honorable Member has raised is a very serious issue for somebody to disparage the Parliament in which he's in. I would ask the House, Mr. Speaker, I've looked around, I can't see Kibagendi.
He is there.
Oh, thank you. Proceed, Mr. Speaker.
Go on, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Wanjala. Unlike Honorable Kibagendi, we don't cast aspersions on the character of someone or say things about a person when they are not present to be able to substantiate or to be able to defend themselves. The Right Honorable Speaker was not at Citizen TV. It was rather unfair and unbecoming of a member of Parliament to cast aspersions on the character of the Speaker without knowing that the Speaker, full well the Speaker, was not going to have an opportunity to defend himself. I think that is wrong, and if you ask me, Honorable Speaker, I think we should be asking that he be suspended from the House for the maximum period allowable, which is 28 days. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Mama Migori.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. First of all, on behalf of Kibagendi, I will apologize to this House. Unfortunately, the so-called Honorable Kibagendi is one man who never comes to this House. And even when he comes, he never even contributes. In actual sense, Kibagendi has no reason to be in this House. And his constituents should really be sympathetic to what they did by voting such a man who goes talking about the same parliament that he doesn't even understand anything about. I have never had this man contribute to anything to do with his constituents. But when he goes on TV, he wants to do showbiz. Honorable Kibagendi, I was elected by over 200,000 votes. You have no reason to go and tell other people that our house has been auctioned. I am here every day as a first-timer working so hard to contribute to my constituents and the country. But you can't go out there to do showbiz out of desperation and embarrass a house that has dignified members of parliament.
Order, members. Order. Honorable members. Order. Donya, order. Honorable members, this is one case of what lawyers and judges would say, contempt in the face of the court. I happened to listen to this discourse this morning. There was Honorable Robert Mbui, the Honorable Madenge, and the Honorable Kibagendi. I was horrified to hear the things that Honorable Kibagendi said. That this house has been auctioned. I don't know where the auction ring was and who was holding the hammer. That this house is now an appendage to the executive, and the speaker and the deputy speaker have destroyed and ruined this house, and many other things with a lot of anger. I could see Robert Mbui looking very embarrassed sitting next to him as he said all these things. The Speaker of this House does not have a vote. The Speaker of this House does not participate in debate. The Speaker of this House does not generate debate. The Speaker does not bring any motion to this House. The Speaker does not bring any bill to this House. And the Speaker, even when you vote on matters, when you have roll calls, appoints tellers who bring the outcome to the Speaker to announce the results. The Speaker doesn't even count those votes. And I want to tell this House and the country, for the record, that since I became your Speaker, and I'm a God-fearing and practicing Christian, nobody, and I repeat, nobody, has ever called me as your Speaker to tell me what to do or not to do. And if anybody did, I will reject it. Because you voted for me and I took an oath of office to preside over your proceedings without fear, favor, prejudice, or ill will. And I've done so very diligently. I'm human. I could have made an erroneous ruling. I could have made a ruling that displeases anybody. But the rulings I make here are buttressed by the law. I may misinterpret the law, like many lawyers can do, but that is the right I have as your speaker. So for you as a member of this house, first to say the house has been auctioned, then you have no business to sit in an auctioned house. So what, and this is not a matter I'm going to invite the member to explain himself, because I saw and heard with my own eyes and ears. So Honorable Kibagendi, you will be excluded from the sitting of this house until you bring a properly worded apology, not to me. I'm used to being insulted, to the house. To the house. For bringing the house in disrepute, and that apology should be delivered to the clerk. It will be looked at carefully. If the wording is acceptable, then it will be brought to the house and you will be allowed to come back to the house. For now, you are excluded from the proceedings of this house, the presence of Parliament, the committee sittings, including your office in Parliament. Kibagendi, you are now a stranger in the house and in the presence of Parliament. Let the stranger leave the house first. Order, Kibagendi, you are now a stranger in the house. And in the presence of Parliament, Sergeant, ensure that he does not enjoy the facilities of Parliament, including an office provided by Parliament. Yes, Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, let me begin by thanking you for the action that you have just taken, Honorable Speaker, because as you have rightly put it, it is about the dignity of this House, not the person of the Speaker. It is not about Honorable Kibagendi as a member of Parliament or even as a person, but about the dignity of this House, Honorable Speaker. And I really want to plead with all of us. Honorable Speaker, if we read our own standing orders, Standing Order 107 and 107A, 107.1G clearly says that a member commits an act of disorderly conduct if the member makes allegations without adequate substantiation. Honorable Speaker, if you listen to what Honorable Kibagendi was saying on national TV this morning, he had no substantiation of how this house has been auctioned, and even saying very disparaging things about the Deputy Speaker, who in any case was supposed to be in that show, or rather on that show, together with the Honorable Robert Mbui. Honorable Kibagendi is having his first term. He has only been in this house for 2 years, and I must agree with the member for Migori County. The member has never brought a single motion, has never proposed a single bill, and has never in any manner contributed meaningfully to any debate in this house. The best Honorable Kibagendi will do is to be disruptive of other members when they are making very substantive contributions to meaningful business. And I honestly sympathize with his constituents. Because when I look at even NGCDF reports, this is one of the most mismanaged constituencies in this country. Therefore, when you find a member disparaging a house he sits in, and indeed I looked at him, Honorable Speaker, and I couldn't help sympathize with the member because he had a lot of misplaced anger. And you could tell he has misplaced anger. And that misplaced anger is not with the house. It is with your own performance as a member of Parliament. Honorable Robert Mbui, who was seated on that show, is serving his third term. And And I was praying Honorable Robert Mbui would advise him, and I hope you did, Honorable Robert, after the show, that it serves you no good as a first-time member of parliament to disparage and indignify the house that you sit in, hoping or assuming that it will cure other inadequacies that maybe you may have as a member of parliament in your own constituency or out there, that it serves you better when you dignify the house. Because in this house, when you have experienced members like Robert Mbui, like the Deputy Speaker who is also serving her third term now, they are more likely to advise you on how even to conduct affairs in your own constituency other than disparaging. I know the Honorable Deputy Speaker was saying to have fear to appear on the show. And in fact, if you listen, you hear the anchor, the news anchor, or the host of that show correcting him and telling him he even has an apology from the Deputy Speaker because she was tied up in Eldoret and was on the road driving because of the unfortunate strike by KCA officers. And I know there are many members, including our chair of the Jailer Committee, who are stuck in Eldoret. I know Honorable Samuel Moroto has told me this morning he could not make it because he was also on the road. He missed his flight and they were stuck in Eldoret for some time. And therefore, the things Honorable Kibagendi was saying should not be excusable for any member, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, this is a matter, it is good that you have taken action because I wanted to ask the Honorable Sarah Korere to move that we name Honorable Kibagendi and we commit him to the Powers and Privileges Committee. But Honorable Speaker, let me take this opportunity to thank you because I'll be raising another issue tomorrow. Because in your standing as Speaker, you have done what is right to protect the dignity of this House. Because, Honorable Speaker, whenever a matter is raised, whether it is in committee, in the House, or outside the House, that touches on our dignity, it is all of us collectively, Honorable Speaker. You know, when you hear people are collecting money here and left, right, and center out there, and we do not take a position as a House, then we all stand accused, Honorable Speaker. When we are said to have been auctioned, Honorable Speaker, you know, serious people like Senior Counsel Otiende Omolo, can you imagine now who would auction Otiende Omolo? Who would auction TJ Kajwang? Or an elder like Professor Nyikal, a man who sits through this House from 2:30 to 7 p.m. at times to midnight, when Anthony Kibagendi, who is younger and who is more resilient to sit for hours, hardly sits in this House for 30 minutes. So even when the House was being auctioned, where were you, Honorable Kibagendi? And he should be ashamed of himself, Honorable Speaker. And if he does not apologize, Honorable Speaker, in a manner that is acceptable to the House, Honorable Speaker, we must take more decisive action on the Honorable Kibagendi. Yes, we must take into our Powers and Privileges Committee, Honorable Speaker. And with that, Honorable Speaker, I must say it is very embarrassing and shameful for Honorable Kibagendi to have done what he did. And thank you, Honorable Speaker,
Honorable
for
members,
dignifying this House.
Those who may wish to comment on this will do so when the apology comes. But what I want to encourage you members, there are members in this House, such as TJ Kajwang, James Nyikal, the elders. Bukose is approaching that level, Raso, Rindikiri, Murugara, and others, who sit in this House from 2:30, sometimes to 9 p.m., participating in debates. And when you go out there and besmirch the House, don't think that your own character is safe. The moment you say the House is auctioned, you are part of the auctioned material. Try and conduct ourselves with decorum. You know, when you go to TVs, know that the whole world is watching. Your wife is watching, your children are watching, your husband is watching, your constituents are watching. We are all watching. And you are privileged to be 290 members out of 56 million to represent the people of Kenya. So you carry enormous responsibility on behalf of our people. How you conduct yourself? 349. I was talking of the constituencies minus Sara Sindhia
I forgot that we have 47 women members of parliament. And there are some very young members of parliament here who I sit in my chamber and I see them participating in debate very meaningfully. Gisairo here is a first-timer. I see his production. Cynthia Muge here and others who are first-timers, but you can see substance. That I haven't mentioned you doesn't mean that I've excluded you. You are all extremely good people. I want to urge the seniors, Kinatije and others, mentor these young members of parliament so that the moment you see a camera and a TV screen, you get excited and take leave of what is reasonable. That is not good for this house. And as long as I'm your speaker, I'll protect your dignity and the dignity of the house. I leave it there. Next. Yes, Gikaria, your order has been called. Are you ready to move? Members, Honorable Gikaria says he is requesting, go and put it on record. Give him the mic.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to ask for a leave that we are not ready because we are just from report writing on the field development plan. If I could be given an opportunity tomorrow in the morning or in the afternoon, I'll be able to execute that.
Request granted. Next order.
Thank you.
Order number 12, motion, consideration of a petition regarding pollution of River Athi.
Karemba, you are ready? Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move the following motion, that this House adopts the report of the Public Petitions Committee on Public Petition number 11 of 2022 regarding pollution of River Athi. Honorable Speaker, the role of oversight of our public affairs is a core mandate of the National Assembly as stipulated under the Constitution of Kenya 2010. In fulfillment of this constitutional duty, the Public Petitions Committee is mandated under Standing Orders 208A to B to consider all public petitions presented tabled in the House. The Public Petitions number 11 of 2022, presented by Honorable Vincent Musyoka, MP, member for Mwala constituency, raised serious concerns regarding the sustained pollution of River Athi and its devastating environmental and socio-economic impact on the communities downstream. The petitioner specifically sought an inquiry, enforcement of the environmental laws, a comprehensive restoration plan, and a framework for compensation to the affected communities. Honorable Speaker, the committee undertook a comprehensive examination of the petition. We received oral and written submissions from various stakeholders, including 1, the petitioners, 2, Water Resource Authority, 3, Tana and Athi Rivers Development Authority, TADA, the County Government of Machakos, the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry and National Environment Management Authority, Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, Export Processing Zone Authority, and Ministry of Interior and National Administration. To gain a practical understanding of the situation, the committee also conducted extensive site visits to the critical areas along the River Athi, both upstream in Mlolongo, Mavoko and Athi River, EPZA, and downstream in Kiukuni, Ikalasa Ward, Mwala constituency. These submissions and field observations formed the basis of the committee's findings and recommendations as outlined in the report. Honorable Speaker, having considered all submissions, site visits, reports, and issues for determination, the committee made several key observations and recommendations. And they are as follows. The committee observed that the population of the River Athi is a profound national crisis, largely driven by the following. The River Athi is severely polluted, particularly from its upstream sections, flowing through the industrial zones like Athi River and Mlolongo, with a discharge of raw and poorly treated industrial effluent and domestic sewerage. This pollution has rendered the river water unsafe, and human and livestock consumption, as well as irrigation, especially in the downstream areas of Mala constituency. 2, there is systemic failure by the key environmental and water regulatory agencies, including the National Environment Management Authority and the Water Resources Authority, to effectively enforce the Environmental Management and Coordination Act, EMCA, and the Water Act. This is evidenced by the continuous illegal discharge of effluent into the river, suggesting a breakdown in the regulatory oversight and compliance monitoring. 3, the lack of adequate and functional common effluent treatment plants and insufficient sewer networks in the industrial and densely populated areas surrounding the river's tributaries are primary contributors to the pollution load. Existing infrastructure, where present, is often overwhelmed or dilapidated. The pollution has caused significant public health concerns, including outbreaks of waterborne diseases, and has severely impacted the livelihoods of communities downstream who rely on river for economic activities like farming, fishing, and livestock rearing. This is a notable lack of cohesive, multi-agency approach between the national government, ministries of water and environment, regulatory bodies like NEMA and WRA, and county governments, and that is Machakos County, in addressing the pollution crisis. And Honorable Speaker, these are the committee's key recommendations. In light of the observations made, the committee makes the following recommendations to the relevant state organs for action. 1, to the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry, NEMA and WRA. NEMA and WRA Water Resources Authority shall immediately compel all identified industrial and commercial polluters to cease the discharge of untreated effluent into the River Athi and its tributaries within 30 days of the adoption of this report by the House. Non-compliant facilities must be shut down and legal action initiated against the appropriators. NEMA and Water Resources Authority shall establish a permanent integrated multi-agency surveillance team to continuously monitor effluent discharge quality along the river basin. The team shall submit quarterly compliance reports to the National Assembly. To the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation and Waterworks Development Agencies shall expedite the planning, funding, and construction of adequate and modern common effluent treatment plants and complete the expansion of sewer networks in the Athi River Mlolongo Industrial Cluster to ensure all the sewage and industrial effluent is treated before disposal. The ministry shall allocate adequate resources towards the rehabilitation of the dilapidated water and sewerage infrastructure that contributes to overflow and pollution. 3, to the National Treasury and the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, the National Treasury, in conjunction with the Ministry of Interior and National Administration and the County Government of Machakos, shall develop a framework for compensation and remedial measures for the communities in Moala constituency and other affected areas whose health and livelihoods have been irreversibly harmed by the chronic pollution of River Athi. The National Treasury shall allocate specific funds within the next financial year for the execution of a comprehensive River Athi ecological restoration program as formulated by the Ministry of Environment. To the County Government of Machakos, the County Government shall enforce strict adherence to solid waste management regulations and ensure that the solid waste is not disposed of on the river, near the river or its banks. Honorable Speaker, I wish to express the committee's gratitude to the petitioners and all stakeholders for the invaluable input which enabled the committee to compile this crucial report. I also extend my sincere appreciation to your office and the office of the Clerk of the National Assembly, and I further thank the honorable members of the Public Petitions Committee for the diligent participation in the deliberations and site visits, as well as the committee secretariat for the professional support in preparing this report. So, Honorable Speaker, I now call upon the Honorable Beatrice Elashi. I beg to move, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move, and I now call the Honorable Beatrice Elashi to second the motion, and I urge the House to support. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to second that the public petition number 11 of 2022 regarding pollution of River Athi by Honorable Vincent Musyoka. Madam Speaker, when you look at the findings of this petition, you realize, Madam Speaker, that the committee observed that the activities of the industries, companies in the Athi River Basin pose environmental threats to the residents of Athi River. And Madam Speaker, when you look at Athi River, for the many years that we've had challenges with Athi River, you realize even as in Nairobi, Madam Speaker, we are part of the challenge of Athi River because all the pollution that comes from Nairobi River end up flowing into Athi River. Madam Speaker, what the committee also observed is that enforcement actions and inspections by NEMO on the industrial establishments are not satisfactory, meaning that we still need a lot of enforcement to ensure, especially through the industries that are along the river. And Madam Speaker, you realize our sewer line that is more than 400,000 cubic meters becomes a major source of upstream pollution into the Athi River. And so, Madam Speaker, when you look at the recommendations that I can see the SG of ODM is walking in, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the SG of ODM has just walked in and we want to congratulate her. Welcome, Madam Speaker. Welcome, Madam SG. Madam Speaker, allow me to proceed and continue with the recommendations of the committee. So the committee, Madam Speaker, on its prayer is that the committee has engaged with the Government Chemist and National Environmental Authority, NEMA, and the committee recommended that within 60 days, the Government Chemist and the Water Resource Authority, WARA, has the mandate, which has the mandate of water quality sampling and the sample analysis report be used by WARA to ensure restoration orders to the polluting companies. Madam Speaker, you realize the committee also requested that TADA is given a budgetary allocation to spearhead the cleanup of Athi River, to collaborate with other agencies, NEMA, WARA, WASREB, and the county government of Machakos. Madam Speaker, you realize Nairobi now we have started, and we have started cleaning, and I want to thank Governor Sakaja with the whole authority that the President has put in place, and that is now cleaning Nairobi River. When you go to the downstream of Nairobi River, Madam Speaker, you will find that the river is now being cleaned. The other recommendation, Madam Speaker, is that TADA that the compensation of residents affected by the pollution, the committee rejects the prayers as an issue of compensation, which is best resolved through adjudication, Madam Speaker. On this recommendation, Madam Speaker, we realized if you want to compensate people who have been living along the river, but at the same time are the ones who have polluted the river, then we shall be bringing in a new, you'll find ourselves with many complaints, Madam Speaker, and this will bring in a new precedent that will create a lot of challenges for those who would wish to see all these rivers cleaned and pollution stopped. We will find companies also fighting for compensation because they are also on the rivers, and this will really deter what we are trying to achieve. Madam Speaker, the committee also agreed that in 6 months thereafter, NEMA to take remedial measures against non-compliant companies, industries, including but not limited to revocation of their licenses. In this, Madam Speaker, we are saying all the companies to be given time, but after 6 months, Madam Speaker, allow now the government to take over and ensure that we are able to revoke licenses for those who have refused to comply with the orders that will be given. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation considers the proposals of the petitioners of establishment of recreational walkways to enhance conservation and ecological awareness of riparian land. Madam Speaker, you realize in Nairobi we've had that same challenge, but I also want to thank PSE.
With your permission, Your Excellency, while we remain standing, allow me to invite Peter Imotok, Leader of Majority Nairobi Council, in a short to open up this session. Welcome, sir.
Let us pray. Our kind and loving Master in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for this occasion that, Lord, you prepared from the beginning of the earth. As you say in the books of Romans 8:28, that all things work together for the good of them who are called by God and for his purpose. Indeed, Lord Jesus, we are here for your purpose. As leaders led by the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, ministers present, PSs present, Our Excellency the Governor Arthur Johnson of Sakaja present, our county CCs present, our county chief officers present, we call upon your presence before this meeting. As we begin with us, and with us, in Jesus' name I pray and believe. Amen.
Let us take our seats. With your permission, Your Excellency, allow me to invite Aidan Mohammed, Chief of Strategy, Execution, Executive Office of the President, to continue the state invocation.
Your Excellency the President, Your Excellency the Prime Cabinet Secretary, the Honorable Attorney General, all Cabinet Secretaries present, the Governor of Nairobi City County, all Principal Secretaries present, all members of Nairobi CECs present, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. This ceremony is convened pursuant to Article 189, subsection 1 of the Constitution, to witness the signing of Intergovernmental Cooperation Agreement between the national government and the Nairobi City County government. The agreement anchors the framework for promotion of social and economic development in the capital city in accordance with Section 6 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act, Cap 275 laws of Kenya. This ceremony further underscores our unique constitutional architecture, of Governance, which recognizes the national and county governments as distinct yet interdependent. It also affirms the imperative of intergovernmental relations as provided under Section 24 to 29 of the Intergovernmental Relations Act. This seminal cooperation that will be executed this afternoon acknowledges the unique status of the Nairobi city as the seat of government and host to diplomatic missions accredited to Kenya. This position necessitates close collaboration between the two levels of government in the provision and maintenance of critical infrastructure essential to sustaining the nation's global competitiveness. Your Excellency, in heralding a new chapter in the management of our nation's capital, the cooperation agreement shall be executed by the Prime Cabinet Secretary on behalf of the national government and by the Governor of Nairobi City County on behalf of the county government. With Your Excellency's kind permission, sir, I now invite the Governor of Nairobi City County, accompanied by the County Attorney, to take his position at the ceremonial desk. With Your Excellency's kind permission, sir, I now invite, it's now my distinct honor to invite the Prime Cabinet Secretary, accompanied by the Attorney General, to take his position at the ceremonial desk as well. You may now go ahead and append your signatures and exchange the signed copies of the cooperation agreement. You may now exchange the signed copies of the cooperation agreement. Oh, sorry. I think it must now be the time to exchange the signed copies of the agreement. You can give them a round of applause. Thank you very much. I think you may take your seats. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, sir, as we draw this program to its conclusion, permit me, sir, now to invite the Governor of Nairobi City County to make brief remarks before I call upon the PCS to make his remarks.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Treating the cancer patient. Honorable Speaker, in the last few weeks, I've had a personal patient, and I want to thank Opti Coastal for the services they rendered to this patient. But I keep on asking, if I met those expenses, what about the many Kenyans that are there, Honorable Speaker? And that is why the Ministry of Health should unlock the benefits that come with SHA. We want to see availability of services and many patients accessing cancer treatment services, and especially down at the health centers, at the dispensaries, because, Honorable Speaker, we need even to go to another step of declaring cancer a disaster in this country. A number of people are suffering and are not able to meet the expenses that come with the treatment of cancer. And Honorable Speaker, I want to declare that SHA is...
Your time is up, Senator Beatrice. Your time is up. Take your seat. Now, clerk, let us now resume order number 12. You may call that out.
Order number 12, motion. Consideration of the report of the Mediation Committee on the Coffee Bill, Senate Bills number 10 of 2023.
First, Chairperson, Mediation Committee, to move the motion, Senator Wakoli.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move that the Senate adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the Coffee Bill, Senate number 10 of 2023, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 4th December 2025, and that pursuant to Article 1132 of the Constitution and Standing Order 1673 of the Senate, approves the mediated version of the bill. Honorable Speaker, I want to appreciate the Almighty for us to cross over this year. As we left last year, Honorable Speaker, the Kenyan farmer, the coffee farmer, was anxiously waiting to see how far this bill goes, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the mediation committee of this bill, number 23, was constituted by the Speaker of the National Assembly on 22nd July 2025, pursuant to Standing Order 1492, of the National Assembly Standing Orders, and the Speaker of the Senate on 20th of May 2025, pursuant to Standing Order 1162 of the Senate Standing Orders. The committee held 5 sittings to deliberate on the Coffee Bill, Senate Bill number 10 of 2023, in accordance with the Constitution and relevant provisions of the Standing Orders of the Senate and the National Assembly. Having considered the Coffee Bill Senate 10 of 2023, the committee observed, 1, the coffee law will help to regulate the coffee industry in Kenya, as it will ensure that producers and manufacturers comply with established standards and guidelines. This will help in improving the quality of coffee products and ensure the consumers are protected from harmful and substandard products. 2, a clear legal framework for the coffee industry will make it easier for investors to understand the regulatory environment and make informed decisions about investing in the sector. This can lead to increased investment in coffee production and processing facilities, which will create jobs and drive economic growth. 3, the Coffee Bill 2023 has provisions that protect domestic coffee producers from unfair competition from foreign imports and middlemen. This will help to support local coffee production and ensure that Kenya's coffee industry remains viable and sustainable. 4, the coffee industry is an important part of Kenya's agricultural sector, and promoting the growth and development of the industry will promote food security in the country. This is especially important given Kenya's dependence on imported coffee and other food products. 5, a well-regulated coffee industry will generate significant revenue for the Kenyan government through taxes and other fees. This revenue will be used to support important social programs and infrastructure projects. The committee, having reviewed the Coffee Bill Senate 10 of 2023, recommends that the House approves the bill with amendments as proposed in the schedule in Chapter 5 of this report. The committee is grateful to the offices of the Speaker and the clerks of both Houses of Parliament for the logistical and technical support accorded to it in the execution of its mandate. Finally, we express our appreciation to members of the committee and the committee secretariat for their patience, sacrifice, endurance, and commitment to the assignment which enabled the committee to complete the task within the stipulated period. It is now my special privilege and honor to commend this report to the Houses for approval on behalf of the Mediation Committee pursuant to Article 113(2) of the Constitution, Standing Order 1501 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, and Standing Order 1611 of the Senate Standing Committee. Senator Wafula Wakoli, MP Chairperson, Mediation Committee on the Coffee Bill, Senate number 10 of 2023. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to request Honorable Murango, who was my former chair on agriculture, to second.
Senator Murango.
Asante sana Mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, naunga mkono sheria ambayo imeletwa hapa na kusomwa na mwenyekiti wa kamati ya kulima katika bunge la Seneti. Mstahiki Spika, leo najivunia kusimama mbele ya Seneti kuangazia mswada kawa ambao niliudhamini kama seneta wa Kirinyaga na kuungwa mkono na bunge zima la Seneti. Mstahiki Spika, safari ya kukuza kahawa ilianza kabla wa mwaka wa 1932 wakati wa Lowezi. Na Mstahiki Spika, kahawa si zao tu. Kahawa ni urithi wetu. Mstahiki Spika, fedha za kigeni zinazoletwa na wakulima wa kahawa nchini ni takriban milioni 293 milioni dola za Kimarekani. Mstahiki Spika, wakulima wanaohusika moja kwa moja katika ukulima wa kahawa nchini ni takriban wakulima milioni 1. Na Mstahiki Spika, gatuzi ama kaunti ambazo zinazohusika katika kukuza kahawa ni gatuzi 33. Kwa hivyo Mstahiki Spika, tunapoongea mambo ya kahawa ni mambo ambayo ni muhimu sana kwa Kenya hii na ni muhimu sana pia kwa wakulima yetu. Na ndiyo maana Mstahiki Spika, mimi nikiwa mkulima wa kahawa, ninapokuongea mambo ya kahawa wakati mwingine na huwa nashikwa na hisia kwa sababu ya mambo ambayo mambo mazito ambayo mkulima kahawa amekuwa akipitia. Mstahiki Spika, ndio mtu wa kahawa uanze kuzaa kahawa mara ya kwanza, inahitajika kuupanda, kupalilia na kupatia mbolea kwa miaka 3 ndio uanze kupata zao la kwanza. Na Mstahiki Spika, mara kwa mara wakati kahawa inapofikia kuvunwa, unapata wakilitimba ndo wanaingilia na kuweza kuchukua fedha ambazo zinafaa kuwa za wakulima. Na ndio maana Mstahiki Spika, sheria tulipopitisha juzi ambayo inaratibu utendakazi wa vyama vya ushirika katika kuangazia zao la kahawa, imekuwa nina maana kubwa sana kuhakikisha kwamba fedha inapopatikana katika soko la kahawa kutoka katika jiji la Nairobi inaenda mpaka mashinani na kusaidia wakulima. Mstahiki Spika, eneo la Kirinyaga mahali nimetoka ndilo linaongoza katika ukulima wa kahawa kwa wale wakulima ndogo. Namba moja inaongoza ni Kiambu, lakini wale ni wale wanalima mashamba makubwa. Kaunti ya 3 katika ukulima wa kahawa ni kaunti ya Kericho, ikifuatilia kwa karibu na kaunti ya Nandi na kaunti zinginezo, Mstahiki Spika. Kwa hivyo ninapoongea hapa, naongea juu ya zao ambao ni muhimu sana kwa Wakenya. Na Mstahiki Spika, wanaokunywa kahawa ni wengi sana. Hata hatujafikisha kiwango cha kuweza kuridhisha soko ya kahawa. Mstahiki Spika, kahawa ndio zao peke yake duniani ambalo ni la pili kuuzwa na kununuliwa, na ni baada ya mafuta peke yake, Mstahiki Spika. Kwa hivyo wanaouza mafuta ambao tunatumia katika magari zetu na katika viwanda zetu, kitu ambacho ni cha pili duniani ni kahawa. Lakini Mstahiki Spika, lazima pia tuangalie sheria ambazo zinafinya wakulima wa kahawa. Mojawapo ni sheria ambazo zilikuwa zimeletwa za malipo ya moja kwa moja. Mstahiki Spika, mswada huu ama sheria hii inakuja kuondoa kero ambayo ilikuwa imeenda kwa wakulima, kwamba mtu akiuza kahawa yake alipwe na mpesa moja kwa moja, na hiyo ingeua vyama vya ushirika ambalo ni muhimu sana katika kulima. Mstahiki Spika, Mstahiki Spika, wakati mkulima wa kahawa anapokuwa na matatizo ya karo ya shule, anapokuwa na matatizo ya kiafya, katika utaratibu ulio katika vyama vya ushirika, anapata nafasi ya kwenda kule na kupata fedha ili kujikimu kwa mahitaji yake. Mstahiki Spika, ya pili, katika mswada huu tunarudisha bodi ya kahawa nchini ambayo ilikuwepo hapo miaka michache iliyopita na kuondolewa, ambao iliondolewa na kuwekwa pamoja na AFA na shirika la AFA, taasisi ya AFA. Mstahiki Spika, kahawa haiwezi kuwekwa pamoja na mazao ya mboga na kalela na vibamia, kwa sababu wanaoumia wakati kahawa haijaangaliwa sana ni wakulima wengi sana nchini. Mstahiki Spika, kutakuwa pia katika huu mswada, wakati bodi itaundwa, Mstahiki Spika, kutakuwa na ya kuboresha kahawa.
Function. It must meet the highest standards of order, infrastructure, efficiency, and service delivery, not only for its 5 million residents, but also for the millions who depend on it every day. Yet, the fiscal and operational framework of county financing was not designed for a capital city of this scale and responsibility. Nairobi carries national, regional, and global obligations, but is funded largely through the same formula as other counties. Today's cooperation agreement is designed to close the gap. It is actually designed to close that gap fully and within the confines of the law and the Constitution. Let me be clear on the legal foundation. Article 189(2) of our Constitution requires the two levels of government to cooperate, assist, and consult each other. The Intergovernmental Relations Act provides mechanisms for formal coordination agreements. The Urban Areas and Cities Act recognizes the special status of the capital city of Nairobi and provides the framework for joint cooperation. So this agreement is anchored in the Constitution, in the Intergovernmental Relations Act, and in the Urban Areas and Cities Act. We are not operating in a vacuum. Indeed, since the enactment of the Urban Areas and Cities Act in 2012, this cooperation agreement is 14 years late. It should have been in place with the advent of devolution. What we are augmenting today is not a transfer of functions. Let me repeat. There is no transfer of functions happening. For the avoidance of doubt, I have no interest in running the city of Nairobi. My hands are full. The governor and his team must run the city of Nairobi. But I have an obligation as the President of Kenya to assist the city of Nairobi for all the reasons that I have stated. The Nairobi City County Government retains its legal mandate. What is being enhanced is structured national government support where capital city performance affect the entire republic. This cooperation agreement focuses on 4 key work streams: water and sewerage, roads, bridges and drainage, housing and related infrastructure development, including lighting, as well as solid waste management and Nairobi rivers regeneration. On street lighting, Nairobi has about 70,000 lighting points, but only 21,000, about 30%, are fully operational today. A city of Nairobi's stature must be fully lit, fully safe, and fully functional. To address this, we are committing 3.7 billion towards street lighting modernization and expansion. Under this agreement, we will complete 10,000 and install an additional 40,000 lighting points. Because high electricity costs contribute to outages, we will transition progressively to solar solutions. I have given very clear instructions to the people concerned. We will also commercialize lighting poles so that advertising revenue supports maintenance. Going forward, construction of new roads will now include lighting by design. There will be no road constructed now in the city going forward. Part of the contract will be lighting, so that the road is not complete until it is lit. Ladies and gentlemen, across the city's 9 major informal settlements, families sometimes pay more for illegal electricity than residents in formal estates pay legally. In some cases, people in informal settlements pay up to 150% more. This is an injustice we must correct. I'm sure MCAs here know. The member of County Assembly from Mathare Hospital has been on my case. Mukuru Kayaba, Mukuru Kwaruben, Gitari Marigu, Korogosho, Kibra, Deep Sea Slum. All those areas have been, electricity has been switched off. These are residents of the city living in darkness. The national government, working with the Kenya Power, we will invest 1.5 billion in transformers and proper last mile connections, alongside a prepaid bulk framework to lower power costs for low-income households and to make sure that their connections are legalized. In the long term, we will transform informal settlements through affordable housing, and a 3.3 billion upgrade program covering transformers, prepaid metering, and settlement lighting around footpaths, markets, schools, and health facilities. On water and sanitation, Nairobi faces both a supply shortage and significant systems losses. We will invest 2.1 billion at Ngedu treatment plant to stop daily losses of approximately 50,000 cubic liters. Another 3.3 billion will go into the Kigiri Shaurimoyo evacuation corridor to stabilize and extend supply to high demand zones. As Governor said earlier, added onto the 140 million cubic liters, we will now enhance it by another 50,000 in a short while, even as we focus our attention in mobilizing funding for Maragua 4 and Northern Collector 2 to secure long-term water stability for Nairobi and neighboring counties. Just to mention, the Minister for Water knows very well that among the 50 mega dams that are in our strategic plan that will be funded under the National Infrastructure Fund is Maragua 4 that will supply water to the city of Nairobi. On sanitation, as part of the Nairobi River Regeneration Program, we are committing 9 billion to build 2 parallel 27-kilometer trunk sewer networks along the Nairobi River corridor, and 6 billion for a new sewer treatment plant that will treat 60,000 cubic liters of water per day, securing capacity for at least the next 40 years. An additional Kenya shillings 3 billion will support last-mile sewer connectivity, while 15 billion shillings is set aside for long-term sewer expansion across the city of Nairobi. On roads, bridges, and drainage, we are spending a total of 8.7 billion shillings. Kenya shillings 2 billion has been allocated to complete phase 1 of Kura roads within the next 2 months. We are also mobilizing additional funding of 1.7 billion for a 57-kilometer road package starting in April this year under phase 2. Phase 3, valued at Kenya shillings 5 billion, will also be procured this financial year. And this has had the input of the members of the County Assembly of the City of Nairobi. In every ward, we will enhance road networks under the 5 billion shilling mobility and safety program, completed by 3.7 billion from the county government. Complemented, I know the Nairobi City County has a program which will cost about 3.7 billion shillings. We have agreed on what they will do, but we will also provide a further 1 billion to be dedicated to drainage improvement. We all know when it rains what happens to the city of Nairobi. And my instructions to both the Ministry of Infrastructure and Roads and Housing is that we do not want a flooded city this year. You have to move with speed so that we do what we have to do. If there will be any flooding, it should be minimal. But by next year, we should have corrected the problem that we have. In solid waste management, the county has already allocated 100 acres for material recovery facilities and transfer stations, committing 4 billion shillings, we agreed, Sakaja, while the national government will provide 2 billion shillings every year within the existing framework to advance circular waste systems. Ladies and gentlemen, security is non-negotiable. especially for a modern capital city like Nairobi. I therefore direct the Cabinet Secretary for Interior to prepare and present within 60 days a framework for a dedicated Nairobi Metropolitan Police Unit. To work hand in hand with the Nairobi County Security. We will make, and we must make Nairobi safe for citizens, visitors, investors, and business alike. Our cooperation with the Nairobi City County government, ladies and gentlemen, is not beginning today. This partnership is already visible in the Nairobi Rivers Regeneration Program, a 50 billion shilling initiative transforming riverine settlements through housing, sanitation, public spaces, and environmental restoration, and employing over 45,000 young people in the city of Nairobi. Governor, I hope you find some time tomorrow. I want to undertake an inspection of what is going on that program. Today, we are amplifying what we already started. With an initial quantified capital package of everything that I have said, amounting to 80 billion across priority sectors, this structured partnership is designed to deliver measurable impact and expand opportunities for all in Nairobi County. It is correct, ladies and gentlemen, and it is right for us to do what we are doing. I want to persuade the many people who never see anything good about our country and our city that there comes a time when we must pull together. There comes a time when we must put aside partisanship and posturing. This is not an occasion for us to throw around titles, Excellency that, and Excellency the other one, Honorable this, and Honorable the other one. It is a time when we should hold hands together so that we can take charge of our city. Many people who visit Kenya get their experience out of Nairobi. There are many people, many visitors who come to Kenya, and the only place they come to is Nairobi. When you hear many people across the world saying, I have gone to Kenya, they possibly could have come only to Nairobi. And therefore, the impression we get, the impression we give out of the city of Nairobi is the impression that the global community has of the Republic of Kenya. And therefore, it is important for us to work together. As I have said, the package we are discussing here today is a package of 80 billion shillings. Several ministries will be involved in this exercise. If you bring on board what we are doing in housing, in markets, in hostels, Nairobi City alone, we are spending from the ministry run by Alice Wahome, 249 billion shillings in the city of Nairobi alone. We have signed contracts of 110,000 housing units in the Nairobi City County. When we were campaigning, Sakaja and myself, we promised to build 20 markets, modern markets in the city of Nairobi. The national government is going to build 12. The county government is going to build 8. I was in Gikomba, and we are now designing a modern market, modern national market, because as I went around in the Nyota program, many of the traders in different parts of Kenya said they buy their wares from Gikomba. So Gikomba does not serve the city of Nairobi. People as far as Busia, Embu, going as far as Mandera, they buy their wares, the ones they sell, in those markets, in those shopping centers from the city of Nairobi. And that is why I have given my undertaking that we are going to build a 5 billion shilling modern market in Gikomba that is going to present the correct face, not what we have today. This will strengthen Nairobi's standing as a capital worthy of the republic it serves, orderly, functional, competitive, and globally respected. A first-rank African metropolis that reflects our national ambition and commands both local and international confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very, very proud moment for me. I want to assure the Nairobi County Assembly, the Speaker is here, the leadership of the House is here, we have several MCAs here, that you will provide oversight as is expected of you. This signed document will come to the County Assembly for your input, for your endorsement before we finally roll it out. The sooner, Mr. Speaker, the sooner we start, you know. So I really want to assure you that we want the exercise of public participation to begin. Let's have the people of Nairobi speak to it. This is what we want to do for the city of Nairobi. We must modernize this city. We are doing a world-class Talanta Stadium. We're doing a world-class conference facility in Bomas. Shortly, we will start the construction, with the private sector, by the way, of a modern arena right here in Nairobi. And as I promised the country, we will roll out in a couple of months the construction of a new airport in Nairobi. Ladies and gentlemen, we must raise our ambition. We cannot continue to make peace with mediocrity. It is not right. It is unacceptable. And I want to say this for the avoidance of any doubt, that any person who has better ideas should come forward. You know? Noise, name calling, you know, and all the other, you know, drama and activism will not change our country. And we must be very clear about it. Some of the things that we are doing today should have been done way back. But because those of us who are leaders want to choose the easy, popular path, we never get to do the things that matter to our nation. Let me say this. We must believe in ourselves. We must believe in our country. We must be patriotic to this nation. You know, the negativity about Kenya. If you are negative about Kenya, what contribution are you making? How are you helping? If you hate your country, how is that a solution? You know? If you have better ideas, tell us. You know? So this is really what I want us to focus on. And we have set out for ourselves to do what we think and what we believe will change our country. I am an ardent, consumed believer that this is a great nation, and we can only make it greater. You know, we must believe in this country of ours, good people. I see many people, they talk about Kenya as if they have a spare country to you know. Why? If you are negative about your country, don't look for the next person to blame or anybody to blame. Go to the mirror. That is the person to blame. So, tafadhali nawaomba waheshimiwa MCS. Sisi tuko kusaidia kwa sababu katiba na sheria inatupa nafasi ya kushirikiana kati ya serikali ya kaunti na serikali ya kitaifa. Sheria ya miji specifically inatupatia nafasi ya national government na Nairobi City County, mahali capital city ya Kenya iko, kufanya kazi kwa mpango. Na ndio sababu hiyo leo tuko hapa. Sio kwa sababu ya uchaguzi inayokuja, sio kwa sababu tuko na AFCON, hapana. Tunafanya hivi because it is the right thing to do. This is what we must do. We are doing it for ourselves. Yes, we are doing it for our country, for the residents of the city of Nairobi and for the people of Kenya. Tunafanya hivyo kwa sababu hiyo. So, hakuna sababu ingine ambayo mtu atatafuta kusema pengine huyu anatafuta hii ama anatafuta ile. Mimi nilifanya campaign pamoja na huyu mungwana. Tulikubaliana na watu wa Nairobi, hii Nairobi haiwezi kuwa mji wa takataka. Today, my friends, let's be honest with ourselves. Nairobi River is a sewer, right? Right, going through the city. The center of the city is a sewer line. And it is supposed to be okay. How is it supposed to be okay? All these years, tuko tu hapo, tumengedhi hapo, you know, we are, and we have a sewer. We are the environmental capital of the world. How can we have filth and sewage in the Nairobi River? That is why we have committed resources. Shortly, we will begin the procurement of Ngong River. I hope, Hinga, you are working on that with Alice, so that we can completely change the city of Nairobi and present the correct picture of the people of Kenya. So nawaomba ushirikiano wenu. Mawaziri wako hapa. Huu sio wakati wa kusema nani ni mkubwa kuliko nani. You know, Biblia inatufundisha ya kwamba yule anajifanya ndio mkubwa aoshe miguu ya wale wengine. So let's not, you know, oh, I don't know who is going to chair, I don't know who is going to be bigger than who is going to be what. Let's get work done. Let us get our hands tufanye kazi, si ndio jameni? Mimi nawaomba tafadhali wangwana, tushirikiane, tufanye kazi pamoja, tutabadilisha hii city. We have laid a good foundation. Tumeweka msingi mzuri sana. We have stabilized our economy, we have consolidated our economy. We have Nairobi city is among the leading kwa mambo ya registration ya SHA. We have built additional classrooms in this city. I was just getting a brief. We built ourselves 240 classrooms that are, most of them are ready. The members of parliament in the city of Nairobi built another almost 300 or 400 classrooms, which are also ready. Because we want to change the city of Nairobi. So tushirikiane, tufanye kazi pamoja. And you can count on me 100%. And vile nimesema, gavana, tukipata nafasi kesho, tuende kuna maneno pale, nataka tuende tuangalie, kwa sababu hii kazi inahitaji sometimes oversight. We see what's going on. Saa zingine unaambiwa ukiketi kwa ofisi, hii imefanyika, ukikuta pale ni opposite. So saa zingine ni vizuri kupeleka macho huko na kuangalia. So otherwise, asanteni sana. I think we all have our marching orders. Yeah. CS Mugai, Eric, you know what to do. Sindio? Yeah. To maji. Na hii Korogocho, my friend Alex na Opio. I hope you have finished you have finished the procurement. The contractors. Kwa sababu tuko na sehemu katika mji wa Nairobi watu wanaishi kwa giza. It's not correct. Hata kama kuna illegal connection, hawa watu wa illegal connection tuende tuwafukuze na tuweke legal connection. Because our illegal connectors, they are charging the residents more than what the rest of Nairobians are paying. So it is a lose-lose. The government is losing and the consumers are losing. So nobody is winning. So I also want to ask people living in those areas, we are on the same side. Mujue, we are on the same side. Hawa watu ambao wanafanya illegal connection, they are exploiting you and they are stealing from us. So tusaidiane, we corner them, tuwafukuze, ndio tufanye ile inahitajika, tufanye pamoja. Tumekubaliana jameni? So Mr. Speaker, over to you na county assembly yako, alafu tutembee na watu wa Nairobi na watu wa taifa letu la Kenya. God bless you.
And with that, we'll remain standing for the anthem, which will bring this session to a close. So let us all remain standing for the national anthem. The anthem. And that brings us to the end of
Dengu farmers was very, very misleading, Mr. Speaker, and very, very unfortunate. In a country, Mr. Speaker, where those who are perpetrating that argument could just simply have made reference to the published bill and realize that there's nothing that was punitive about the mung beans farmers. Mr. Speaker, in the wisdom of the leadership of both houses of parliament, both the National Assembly and the Senate, a mediation committee has been put in place. That mediation committee, Mr. Speaker, has not had opportunity to meet. Our own standing orders are very clear, Mr. Speaker, and I want to read it. Mediation Committee Standing Order 166-6. If the Mediation Committee fails to agree on a version of the bill within 30 days of the appointment of the committee by the speakers of the houses under paragraph 2, or if a version proposed by the committee is rejected by either house, the bill is defeated. Mr. Speaker, I do not want to cast aspersions on my colleagues, but it's very, very unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, that now we are nearing the 30 days for the expiry of the Mediation Committee on the Mung Beans Bill to sit and consider the bill. Mr. Speaker, I want to say this. Somebody may be thought that this Mung Beans Bill is about Kitui County or Makueni or Machakos. It is not. Mung beans are grown in not less than 37 counties in this country. And Mr. Speaker, if there are people who have a problem with supporting dengue farmers in this country, Mr. Speaker, I will let that matter rest there. But give the assurance to those people who are the real enemies of dengue farmers in this country that when God allows Senator Enoch Wambua to become the next governor of Kitui County, the first county bill, law that we are going to pass will be the Mung Beans Bill to help our farmers and to give them support from our government. I will leave the rest to the senators who grow dengue, who have dengue farming taking place in their counties, to decide what they want to do with their farmers. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, as we celebrate the achievements that this new law will accrue to the coffee farmers, Senator Cherargei has made reference to conversations that are taking place among county governors. For those county governors, Mr. Speaker, that grow coffee in their counties, we ask them to move with speed and make sure that once this bill becomes law, then they are able to do their bit in supporting their farmers to get the full benefits of this crop. The Speaker, Cherargei has also mentioned, Senator, that coffee is the gold of the counties that grow the crop. And he has even tried to invoke your name, Mr. Speaker, in that debate in the construction industry and making reference to your involvement in constructions either here or in Bomet, Mr. Speaker. But the one thing that he has said, which is true, is that perhaps, Mr. Speaker, the building, the storage building that you are putting up now, Mr. Speaker, the sand that you're using is a gold that comes from Kitui County. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, the people of Kitui don't get the benefits of that gold. There is no county in this country, Mr. Speaker, that exports as much product or produce as Kitui does with the sand. Over 200 trucks of sand from Kitui every day. Mr. Speaker, even the coffee that is produced and generated from all the counties that grow coffee, even that coffee is not even half the amount of sand that comes from Kitui County. But unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, the proceeds from that sand just goes to the pockets of a well-organized cartel. Now, Speaker, with your permission, because I don't want to belabor that point, this week on Thursday, I shall be requesting you to allow me to issue a personal statement on that matter. Because under our watch, in our time, Kitui County is being turned into a desert by a cartel of greedy and selfish individuals who don't care about the future of our county. The Speaker, with those many remarks, I support the motion and urge my colleagues to give a nod to this mediated version of the coffee bill, Senate Bill number 10 of 2023. The Speaker, I support.
Thank you, Senator Kio Wambua, for your contribution. Now, Honorable Senators, I'll call upon Senator Moses Kajwang to contribute as well as to reply, because from my dashboard I've got no other request other than Senator Kamar, who've just requested. I had been notified that Senator Kajwang will reply on behalf of the mover of the motion. And so I will then ask you to step down so that Senator Kamar can make her contribution. Then I'll call you the last, so that as you submit your comments, you reply on behalf of Senator Wakoli. Senator Kamar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the new gadgets are still unstable because I had pressed it and then it goes off and on. But thank you for being very considerate to allow me to add my voice to this. I thank you because I was a member of the mediation committee, and where am I? Am I heard?
Senator Kamar, you are loud enough. You
okay.
Maybe
you, Mr. Speaker.
Maybe I'll ask Senator Murango to either be a decent neighbor or cross us over the aisle to where he normally sits.
You did too much
so that
IT.
you can hear Senator Kamar in silence. Proceed, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to really thank the members of the mediation committee, led by the Senator Murango, who educated us a lot about the coffee sector. And when you look at the number of declining that was done by Senate, is because we became very much educated and were able to really understand a number of the things that were being discussed there. I'm saying this because some of us, though we are BSc Agriculture, did not do much in coffee. And coffee is a new crop in Uasin Gishu. I come from a county that has been feeding this nation for a very long time, getting a maximum of 20,000 shillings per acre. But in the recent times, when coffee spread to North Rift, Mr. Speaker, we were very surprised that there is a crop that can give you up to 800,000, 900,000. Murango told me $1 million plus per acre. And this is really something new to that region. But I really want to thank the coffee sector also, the new KPCU, for spreading wings and moving to Western Kenya and North Rift. As of course, I think they were in South Rift already. But there are so many things that this bill has presented. And a good number of them are bringing in the management of the crop. To those of us who are beginners, we are very delighted with the fact that the bill is going to continue to promote evidence-based coffee research so that we have research for every region of this country. Mr. Speaker, coffee can be one of the best earners of foreign exchange in the country, Kenya. We know that when the regulations were relaxed a little bit so that farmers can also process and export their coffee, people are actually amazed that they can sell even, they can export their coffee for much higher than the 1 million we are talking about when we only bulk the crop. Also, one of the areas that had been ignored for a very long time, which is being brought in by this bill, is the extension services. Extension services are extremely important because not everybody who did BSc Agriculture in any of our universities concentrated on one crop. So it was general and everybody was doing general crops. So we need a new team of extension workers that can deal with coffee, right from the disease prevention to everything coffee management, including the soils analysis so that we plant the right coffee seedlings in the right places in our farms. So it is really very, very encouraging that this bill is going to promote again a farmer-centered way of managing a crop, because this bill is focusing on how the farmers can reap the most, and it's also focusing on how farmers can be trained to do value addition. This is something that's extremely important. We have talked of value addition, we have talked of Kenya, and even the whole continent of Africa suffering from selling raw material always. And coffee is one of those that used to be sold when it is in raw material. So we need to reach the value, the highest level of value addition so that we can retain the jobs here and we can retain also technology here. And if there is need for technology transfer, it's only when we are ready to maximize on value addition. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank my colleagues who were in the committee led by Senator Morango for the decline, because it also educated the other members and made the members of the National Assembly understand why the Senate was focusing on this the way they were focusing. Again, I like the fact that this Senate is looking at the sectors that have been devolved very seriously, and since agriculture is devolved, then we don't just follow what has been rejected, but look at it and explain to them, and I saw this in the mediation, that our team was able to explain calmly and to convince the members of the National Assembly that some of the amendments they were introducing were either not necessary or were not bringing any value to the bill. So with those remarks, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you and thank the committee and support this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Kamar. Now, Senator Kajwang, Senator Esi Okenyuri has also desired to speak. If you are mindful of me letting her speak, fine, I could just allow you to contribute. Okay, fine. Senator Esi, Senator Kajwang has been gracious enough to...
thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I just want to appreciate the consideration by Senator Kajwang. Just remembered something that I need to highlight. I'm one of the members who sat in this mediation committee. And to bring to the attention of members is that most of the very critical challenges we've been having with farmers in those societies is to do with administration. We have people who are generally mismanaging that management sector, and I thought this is a good thing because the proposal here is to ensure people are running the management system of coffee are guys who are qualified, who have gone to school. Because for you to be in the management board, you need to have a degree, over 5 years experience. I want to believe that this is a very good and progressive proposal because we are not just going to have people with no knowledge in that sector. These are people who specifically should be knowledgeable in the coffee sector so that even if they are going to engage in management, they know very well what they are doing and what consequences lie if they do otherwise. But generally, I wish to also thank the members of this committee for it really took us a very long time to agree. having sat in the mediation committee really also gives me exposure to how people think differently. Though our colleagues from the National Assembly would dispute on certain basic things, and I was just wondering why they might not read from the Senate side of things, but now being mediation, at some point we equally had to agree on whatever the report actually shows. So I thank my colleague members, and I wish that members support this, because this is one way we are going to sort out the mess that we have experienced for quite some time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Moses Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, with the authority and concurrence of the chair, and with the instructions of the mover of the motion, I beg to reply. And Mr. Speaker, as I reply, allow me to make some brief comments. First of all, this House must congratulate the mover, the initial mover, or the initial sponsor of this bill, and that was Senator Murango. And Mr. Speaker, it's very difficult to get a law, to get a bill converted into a law in this current bicameral setup. It now appears that you need an average of 3 years for a legislative proposal to get to the point where there is agreement on it. Mr. Speaker, now that the mediation committee that comprised members from both houses of parliament have agreed on a version that is acceptable, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank members who have debated and who have agreed that we take the amendments that have been suggested by the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, this is the true lawmaking, that the Senate can originate a bill or the National Assembly can originate a bill, and if there is disagreement, we don't fight in public or we don't insult each other. We sit in mediation, go clause by clause, and ensure that we are in agreement on the final outcome. And Mr. Speaker, I really look forward, and I hope that the head of state is going to assent to this bill immediately the two houses dispense with this motion. And I want to call on Senator Murango that despite whatever political convictions you might have, this is such an important bill that you might need to be present at State House to witness its assent, because you have fought for the farmers, you have fought for the coffee farmers. When you are my chair in the Agriculture Committee, you spoke with passion about the fate of agriculture and the fate of farmers in this country. Mr. Speaker, we know Senator Morango has even gone to court to ensure that our economy is not flooded with cheap rice imports that would kill the farmers of Mwea, the farmers of Kano, the farmers of Ahero. So Senator Morango, this one, go to State House. This one, witness the signing. This one, demand to take the pen that has been used to sign that particular piece of legislation, because that is a parliamentary tradition that when you come up with such a good legislative proposal, you need to be there when it's being assented. The issues of politics we can set aside for purposes of this bill. Mr. Speaker, just talking to a few of the issues that were in contention, or just the broad features of this bill, because perhaps there could be Kenyans listening today who have not followed the debate on this particular coffee bill. Mr. Speaker, this bill brings back the Coffee Board of Kenya and establishes a Coffee Research Training Institute. Mr. Speaker, we must have a conversation with the CS responsible for agriculture and the Council of Governors to ensure that we have clarity on our strategic objective and our strategic direction for the agriculture sector. Mr. Speaker, at some point, we established one super agency called the AFA, Agriculture, Food, Fisheries Authority. And that was established during the Mwai Kibaki days. It was hailed as a solution or as a vehicle that would take us to Vision 2030. And Vision 2030 and this Vision Singapore, Mr. Speaker, are not too far apart. But we have torn apart what we established under AFA. The first sector to devolve from AFA was fisheries. I was in this house, Mr. Speaker, when we, in 2016, sponsored the Fisheries Management and Development Act, because we felt that AFA was not providing that visibility and that special care for fish farmers in this country. Mr. Speaker, even though we've got a very elegant piece of legislation supported by regulations. We established the Kenya Fisheries Service. We established the Kenya Fish Marketing Authority. We established a Fish Research Institute. We even established a Fish Levy Fund. Today, Mr. Speaker, that legislation has not been fully implemented, and we are still stuck on regulations. And that is why I was quite keen to see that we are not leaving too much to regulations in this particular proposal. Because when you leave too much to regulations, the regulation-making entities sometimes take too long to bring regulations to this House. And so they render the hard work of senators and members of National Assembly to be useless for lack of regulations. After fisheries, Mr. Speaker, tea devolved. Cotton devolved. Senator Beth Siengo brought a cotton industry development bill. And Mr. Speaker, what was unfortunate was after this House had painstakingly gone through the cotton industry development bill, and Senator Murango has just reminded me that 30% of Kenya's soil is called black cotton soil. So it tells you that in 30% of this country, we could be growing cotton. Instead of importing cotton from Egypt to feed the industries in Athi River that take things for AGOA in the United States, it is possible for us to produce cotton. And so, Speaker, what did the Cabinet Secretary do? The Cabinet Secretary then initiated a presidential memorandum to say that it is not part of the government's strategic policy direction to establish additional state corporations. And as a result, the presidential memorandum was asking Parliament to undo whatever the cotton industry development bill was proposing. And Mr. Speaker, for those of us who hail from areas with black cotton soil, the question was, when we were divesting tea from AFA, there was no problem about state corporations. When you are divesting dairy, there was no problem about too many state corporations. When you are divesting sugar, when you are divesting other products, why is it that when you are divesting cotton, that is when there's concern that there is crawl, there is too much, there are too many state corporations being established. Mr. Speaker, I hope that we are not going to get those kind of arguments in this particular case, because the Coffee Board of Kenya, the Coffee Research Training Institute, one might consider them to be additional state corporations. But Mr. Speaker, the impact they have on the economy of our country must not be looked at from the simple lens of additional CEOs or additional drivers or additional bureaucracy. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the economic impact of coffee, and if you look at what we used to do in coffee and what we can do, it does not matter whether you set up some institute or you set up some board, because if it brings proper alignment of that sector, the benefits are going to outstrip the cost. Mr. Speaker, so this is one conversation that the national government should have with the Senate. We would be very happy to review the sessional paper on agriculture. In 2021, there was a policy statement on agriculture sector that was brought to this House. But Mr. Speaker, you know that 2021 and the administration that is in place right now, the priorities might have changed. I was quite happy when I listened to the President when he addressed Parliament not too long ago, when he talked about his new focus. And he talked about food security. He talked about making sure that we harvest water, we put up these super dams, we take advantage of large-scale agriculture. Yes, that is important, but we must also focus on the smallholders. And so I believe that this is part of the President's focus, and the CS for agriculture should make it easy by coming here, explaining the government's policy on agriculture, and we can bring the Council of Governors on board. Those are the kind of conversations we'd love to have with the governors. Mr. Speaker, as I wind down my reply, I've already said that let's not leave too much to regulation. It is becoming a concern not just in Kenya, but across the Commonwealth. It is now being referred to as skeleton legislation. That members of Parliament have become so lazy that they will do the skeleton, and for the flesh, they will leave it to the cabinet secretaries or to the regulators. Mr. Speaker, that can pose a problem, because a number of the regulations, we have seen regulations that have taken force without coming to Parliament. But on the other hand, we have also seen cases where Parliament requires regulations be brought within a certain time frame, and that is not done. And Mr. Speaker, I recall there was one piece of legislation we passed, or we debated in this House. It was part of the NADCO bills that was going to put clear timelines. And provide clear consequences to regulation-making entities that do not do what they need to do in good time. Mr. Speaker, the CS in charge of cooperatives, CS Oparanya, has been walking around talking to cooperatives and trying to revive coffee cooperatives. Of course, there's still the issue of outstanding loans that some of these cooperatives hold. But Mr. Speaker, CS Oparanya, for those of us who have met him in his office and in other events, has made it clear that there was a colonial notion that coffee could only grow in certain parts of the country. There was this colonial notion that even tea could only grow in areas called the White Highlands. Mr. Speaker, Homa Bay County is a coffee producer. In the year 2023-2024, we produced 629 bags. And Mr. Speaker, 629 bags fetched our farmers close to 20 million. And if you look at the value per bag, it's almost 10 times the value you're getting from maize. Some parts of this country, due to many, many reasons, due to a colonial mindset, Mr. Speaker, some parts of this country are still stuck with what we call poverty crops. Senator Morango has just stimulated to me how a coffee farmer on 1 acre can make 1 million shillings a year. We who come from the sugar belt, Senator Beatrice Ogola and I, Senator Ogola, you know that what you call a successful sugarcane farmer, for you to make 300,000 shillings per acre a year, you have to be extremely lucky. Why are some regions of this country stuck with poverty crops while the real cash crops are still left in certain small pockets of this country? Mr. Speaker, we need to democratize agriculture. And democratizing agriculture is by ensuring that where the soil agrees with a certain crop, we allow the people in that area to produce that crop. One thing I know about Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, and when I talk about Kenyans, I can talk about my parents, I can talk about my family, I can talk about my kinsmen. If today you told them that if you grow an avocado tree, at the end of the year you're going to make a super profit, they will grow it. If you tell them to rear quail, they will do it. If you tell them to do macadamia or whatever it is, they will do it. All you need to do is to prove to them that there's going to be a return on their investment and there's going to be a certain market at the end of the day. The reason why we are stuck with sugarcane, which is a poverty crop, is that at least you know that in my case, Sukari Industries is going to take your sugar. You know that there's a local miller close by who's going to take your sugar. So it's better than nothing. But a lot of our farmers, they have land, and they have land that is rich. They have land that has got what we call in Swahili rotuba. A lot of our people, a lot of the parts of this country that have been classified as poor, we are not poor because of lack of natural resources. We are poor because what is ascribed to us, what is brought to us, what is promoted in our eyes are things that perpetuate poverty rather than things that get us out of that vicious cycle of poverty. And so, Mr. Speaker, I hope that this board, because it's supposed to have a function on regulation, development, and promotion of coffee in this country, that they are not going to restrict themselves to the colonial White Highlands, that they are not going to restrict themselves to the areas that were defined in sessional paper number 10, that they're going to look at this entire country and any corner of this country where coffee can be grown. They are going to promote the growing of coffee in those areas. Mr. Speaker, I also hope that the board will not just be focused on export, production and export. It is embarrassing, Mr. Speaker, that when we go to supermarkets and we buy coffee, the coffee in the cans and the coffee that has been packaged, sometimes you cannot tell where it originated from. When you buy a packet of Nescafe, Mr. Speaker, sometimes it is coffee that was planted in your backyard, behind your house, but it travels thousands of kilometers to be processed in a foreign country, and travels again thousands of kilometers back for it to be sold to you using global supply chains that make the price then triple, not even triple, the price doubles in the order of hundreds. Mr. Speaker, why can't we produce our own coffee? Aliko Dangote in Nigeria is proving that Africans are smart. It's just that we just have this mindset. Mr. Speaker, the one in Swahili and in quote, kasumba ya ukoloni. We have an inferiority complex. Mr. Speaker, they are able to refine their oil in Nigeria. Many years ago, it was thought that was impossible. When even here in Kenya, we had a Kenya petroleum refinery. There's a time we used to refine petroleum in this country. Mr. Speaker, today we are producing oil in Turkana, and well, the motion will come before this House, but we are not having conversations on refining it. We are having conversations on exporting it. I hope that this Coffee Board of Kenya and the Coffee Research Training Institute, working together within this framework that this House has approved, will not just focus on exports, will not just focus on an exchange who, true to the name, exchanges value, takes away from Africa and takes our produce to far off lands for it to come back in very exaggerated pricing. Mr. Speaker, beyond value addition at the micro level, because county governors still have a responsibility, and I'm happy that in the bill, the responsibility of county governors or county governments has been clearly defined. In fact, I'm very happy that unlike in the fisheries space, where there is confusion on who should collect which license, we didn't provide that clarity, Mr. Speaker, because the Constitution has got two words, fishing and fishery. And Mr. Speaker, the Constitution says that fishery is a national government function, but fishing is a county government function. It has created serious confusion, coupled with delays in regulation, that you'd find that a fisherman would be paying taxes to the national government and to the county government. You find someone doing a small cage fish farming thing in Lake Victoria pays taxation to both levels of government. Mr. Speaker, Senator Murango and the team that was working on this has created a matrix indicating the kind of license and the entity that shall levy it. And I'm glad that there's that clarity, what the county governments shall levy, what the national government shall levy, and what the capital markets shall levy. Mr. Speaker, we must tie this to warehouse receipts. Senator Fonandi has talked about violent robbery, within that space. If our warehouse receipting system was working effectively, it would provide good, proper storage for the finished product so that farmers do not have to be under stress to, investing in a high level of security to ensure that they're not stolen. Mr. Speaker, let me finalize by, again, congratulating the team that was in mediation, congratulating the primary sponsor of this bill, that finally there is hope that Kenya will come back to the League of Coffee Producers. We have gone places in the 11th Parliament with the then Senator for Meru, Senator Kiraitu Murungi. We went to Costa Rica to see how they do their coffee. And Mr. Speaker, the interesting thing is that the Costa Ricans, they told us they learned their coffee production from Kenya. And here we were, going to Costa Rica to see how they do coffee, to see how they do bananas, and to see how they do sugarcane. This country, Kenyans should not settle for less. We have the best brains, we have the best ideas, and God blessed us with wonderful soil, wonderful geography. And that is why our coffee is among the best in the world. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I beg to reply, but I also request, pursuant to Standing Order number 66.3, to defer the putting of the question to a later date. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Senator Moses Kajwang, when Chair Murango was the chair of agriculture, I remember there's a time he mentioned to me, he whispered that he was on his way to Costa Rica. That was Colombia. And when did Moses Kajwang, Senator Moses Kajwang and my senior Kiraitu go to? Costa Rica. I think both the countries have did a lot of learning from Kenya. But we are still lagging behind. So we go back to your request has been approved to put the question during the next sitting. So clerk, we go to back to order number 10.
Order number 10, the Kenya National Council for Population and Development Bill, National Assembly Bills number 72 of 2023, second reading, resumption of debate, mover to reply.
Okay, if my eyes are serving me well. I think I can see the majority leader is not here to reply, so I still defer that business. We go to order number 13.
Order number 13, motion, consideration of the report of the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare on a petition to the Senate by employees of the former Kenya Cooperative Creameries Limited, KCC, concerning non-payment of outstanding terminal benefits and Maziwa Sacco dues to former employees of Kenya Cooperative Creameries Limited.
This motion is to be moved by the Chair, Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. I can see it's not in the House. And honorable senators, when I look at this order paper, even going to order number 14, 15, 16, 17, the mover is here, but chairing the session, 18, 19, and 20. The owners of all these bills and motions are not in the House. And therefore, I defer this business until the next sitting. Therefore, senators, we can rise. Yes, Senator Murango, you want to say something?
Mstahiki Spika, najua chenye nataka kuuliza iko katika ratiba ya leo, lakini nitauliza tu ili uweze kunielekeza. Mstahiki Spika, nimeona juzi nimeletewa ombi kutoka kwa wanaotumia maji katika eneo la Kirinyaga, wakulima tofauti na pia watu wanaotumia maji manyumbani, kwamba kutokana na zile kanuni ambazo zilipitishwa kutoka kamati inayohusika na kanuni, that delegated legislation, katika jumba la Seneti, taasisi ya Walma imeongeza bei ya maji Kenya nzima. Maji ambayo ilikuwa inalipwa lita 1000 sumni, sasa inalipwa shilingi 2 na sumni, na imewabidi wameelekezwa lazima weke mita, zile vipimo vya kupima maji upya. Na mbeleni walikuwa nalipa 7500, saa hii ni kutoka kuanzia 180,000 hadi nusu milioni, ambayo wakulima hawezi kumudu. Mstahiki Spika, kupatia ngamia na mbuzi maji saa hii unafaa uanze kulipia. Kwa hivyo Mstahiki Spika, swali ambalo nilikuwa nataka kuuliza, ili utaweza utanielekeza siku nyingine ama leo, inawezekana kwamba hizi kanuni zinapokuja katika bunge la Seneti, kamati inayohusika hata kama imekubaliana na kila kitu, waweze kuleta ripoti, baadhi yetu ambao tuko na wakulima na watu kama hao tuweze kusikiza na kuchangia, kwa sababu ya nafasi hatuna. Asante Mstahiki Spika.
Bwana Senator Murango, ni vyema ripoti hizo zinaletwa katika nyumba la Seneti. Lakini hii kamati ya delegated legislation huwa nimeona kwa miaka mingi, wakati wanakubaliana na hoja yote wanapitisha bila kurudi kwa nyumba. Wakikataa wanakatalia katika kikao chao na waleti katika bunge. Na mimi naona ni vizuri vile umesema tubandilishe kanuni za Seneti na hasa za bunge lote, sababu vivyo hivyo ndivyo hufanyika katika ile bunge geni la taifa. Ndio ripoti yoyote kama ni kukubaliana na mwenye kuzileta zile kanuni ama kukataa, naona ziwe zinafika katika hii nyumba, ndio tuweze pia kuhusika nazo, na pia wao wanaenda kwa wananchi, ile tunaita kuhusisha wananchi, public participation. Kama wanapitisha ama wapitishi, iwe inapita katika public participation, sababu nguvu ya kukataa ama kupitisha sheria wamepewa nguvu mingi sana bila kuhusisha nyumba ama bila kuhusisha wananchi. Kwa hivyo mimi naona naelekeza kwamba baadaye tutaweza kubadilisha kanuni za Seneti ndio tuweze kupata hizo ripoti moja kwa moja. Senator Chalige, but I was giving a communication, a very good communication, very accurate.
Just Speaker.
So why are we opening this discussion again? You can see the subject that comes up upstanding because I did some communication already. Even the mics are already tired.
No, they are not. I thought they are new, Mr. Speaker. They are new but inefficient. Mr. Speaker.
For the day, because I pronounced
yes,
that there is
Mr.
no
Speaker.
business.
The sergeant at arms need to relax. They should be at ease until you stand. Mr. Speaker, I agree with your communication, but I just wanted to be specific with those regulations that are in operation in terms of increment of water tariffs. I know you have said under the Instruments Act, everything or all regulations must come to Parliament. Mr. Speaker, you have to appreciate some of the policymakers, including Cabinet Minister, think that Parliament is National Assembly, which is contrary to Article 93, that Parliament is National Assembly and the Senate. Mr. Speaker, maybe just so that I agree with your direction, but in addition, these three regulations, like Water Services Regulation 2025, Legal Notice number 54, Water Harvesting and Storage Regulation 2025, Legal Notice number 57, Water Resources Regulation 2021, Legal Notice number 58. Speaker, if as you give direction, if they can bring this specifically, it would be very important because you know, Speaker, water is life. And if the increment of water goes up, Mr. Speaker, you see, even you saw in Wazingishu County government the other day, they increased water by 100% because of this regulation. So if you are paying 200 shillings, you ended up paying 2,000. And you saw the protest when there was Wazingishu County government through Eldoret Water and Sanitation Company, increased water, Mr. Speaker. Water is one of the commodities that should be free, clean, and available to each and every Kenyan, Mr. Speaker. So the only thing in this country looks like that the price cannot go up is only salt, because everything is going up. But on this, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for your guidance and your experience that the chair of delegated legislation, Senator Gataya, should be directed to come with the, I know Senator Kajwang understands this, and of course Murango, that if these regulations are enforced, the committee, Mr. Speaker, through your guidance, has power to declare it null and void and unenforceable within the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for your Solomonic direction. We stand guided, but kindly, on behalf of Kenyans, on behalf of the great people of Meru, the Njurin Jeke who gave you mate and everything, please stand with Kenyans. I yield back, Mr. Speaker.
Last but not the last, Senator Moses Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, you have made a very, very profound communication on this particular matter of statutory instruments. Mr. Speaker, I've always told my friend Senator Gataya that he chairs perhaps the most powerful committee in this House, the most powerful committee, because it's his committee that is supposed to go through statutory instruments. And for avoidance of doubt, Mr. Speaker, statutory instrument means any rule, order, regulation, direction, form, tariff of costs or fees, letters patent, commission, warrant, proclamation, bylaw, resolution, guideline, or other statutory instrument issued, made or established in the execution of a power conferred by or under an act of Parliament, under which that statutory instrument or subsidiary legislation is expressly authorized to be issued. Mr. Speaker, subsidiary legislation is now becoming more than primary legislation. And what I called earlier, the laziness of legislatures across the Commonwealth. And Mr. Speaker, I know when you go for meetings of the Commonwealth and the IPU, you will hear of this trend of legislators doing skeleton legislation and leaving subsidiary legislation to ministers and to people who head regulatory bodies. Mr. Speaker, I just want to request that as you have advised, that we could amend Section 15 of the Delegated Legislation Act, because, Mr. Speaker, Section 15, and we must not impute any improper motive on the chair of that committee. The Act does not oblige him to bring a report back to the House, Mr. Speaker, as you have rightly stated. And that is in Section 15. So you could advise that we relook at Section 15. The second thing that we have not resolved, Mr. Speaker, is when the two houses disagree on a regulation. Mr. Speaker, when the two houses disagree on a regulation, and we have had this, the regulations on this other fund, what do we call this other fund for marginalization? the regulations and the marginalization fund, Mr. Speaker. We had a case
similar to equalization fund.
Sorry, equalization fund. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker. There was a situation where the two houses were having different views on it. We have had cases where the National Assembly takes view X on a regulation, Senate takes view Y. We have no proper mechanisms for mediation. That is something that we could also deal with. And finally, where a regulation-making authority delays in bringing regulations to this House, what do we do to them? So, Mr. Speaker, this is profound, and the fact that we have established that almost every other regulation needs to come to Parliament, which means the Senate and National Assembly, makes this House a powerful House, and we must support our brothers and sisters in that committee with the necessary amendments. Because, Mr. Speaker, you wake up and you hear that the tariffs on the expressway have just changed overnight. You wake up, you hear that tariffs on water have just changed overnight. No taxation without representation. That was the basic principle upon which certain civilizations were established. So, Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to congratulate your direction and maybe to challenge the committee to look at these additional points on subsidiary legislation.
I think, Senators, that was a very good, what Senator Murango requested to be advised is a good one. And you know the state departments, our parastatals, are sneaking their legislations, their regulations through the delegated legislation committee. Like now they are sitting on a very, very dangerous policy or regulations, Senator Morango, on tea levies. They are adding more levies on tea. And the committee insists on that matter. There is no public participation. There is nothing is happening. If the committee agrees with them, then tomorrow farmers will be levying that levy. So I think we must open this matter and also to make sure that the delegated legislation is helped to make the right decisions and involving this House and also involving members of the public in accepting the policies and the regulations coming from the executive. So, honorable senators, let us rise. Honorable senators, there being no other business on the order paper, the Senate stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, 18th February 2026 at 9:30 a.m.
C, implementation of Kenya-specific supplemental terms in its privacy policy, considering the provision of the law and the social media platforms, including TikTok, have customized the data processing to comply with Kenyan laws. 3, that the Departmental Committee on Communications, Information, and Innovation introduces of the artificial intelligence AI moderation system to identify the loopholes to enhance continuous improvement of the system. B, training of the AI moderation system in local languages in the country to ensure the algorithm is able to detect inappropriate content presented in the local dialects. C, ensure adequate human contact moderators to ensure vast coverage of local dialects in moderating content from the Kenyan creators. D, ensuring the human content moderators have adequate psychosocial support. E, provision of information and reporting options to flag illegal and inappropriate content. And 5, that TikTok and other social media platforms without monetization policy introduces a monetization policy in the country to enable content creators to earn directly from their content. 6, notes that a total ban of TikTok is not tenable because it infringes upon fundamental rights and freedoms in this country. Further, a ban of social media platform would stifle social and economic growth and benefits of internet connectivity as the nation seeks to enhance its digital economy. However, the committee recommends that social media platforms, including TikTok, be regulated and periodic compliance reviews by the relevant state agencies be institutionalized. So, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and request the Honorable TJ Kajwang to second.
Member for Ruaraka.
Madam Speaker, I thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I thank the chair of Petitions Committee for finding favor that even though I'm not a member of this committee, I'm called upon to second. I have read, Madam Chair, the report by the committee, which is before us, and I want to support it, and I want to second this motion. You see, question of TikTok is an important discussion which we must have because we are leaders and the Constitution has given us the mandate, especially of oversight. And oversight involves issues which concerns the people and for which the institutions are made. But we are also parents and we have children. Those in my age, and I know the member for Tharaka is one of those who are in my age bracket, are raising, Oundo is fairly young, but I think he could be in the general bracket where I am, and I'm sure yours faithfully is somewhere a little young, but floating somewhere. We all have teenage children. They are outgrowing and are becoming adults, but we worry every time. First, our responsibilities as parents to be able to instruct these children in the best way possible, lead them by example, and also nurture their spiritual selves. They may not all be Christians. They may not even believe. They could be even apostates. But every parent would wish that a child leads a spiritual life which is effective and which leads him or her to be a moral person who is effective in national building or building the world. And so the question of TikTok, we must speak about it. When you saw young people here who came to taste the food we had there and said that the pili-pili was not good enough, you could see some of the issues which they were raising and how they organized themselves and how robustly they debated. There was a disconnect between the leaders and the young people because the communication platform was not even. And so if we don't discuss this and listen to it with the ear of a young person, we may not, we may miss the mark. You see, the question of TikTok raises pertinent issues for lawyers, for example. There is the question of data sovereignty, that every global world claims data sovereignty, data privacy. It is an integral part that if you want to live a dignified life with integrity, there must be an amount of privacy as a person that you must withhold. It even goes beyond gender privacy. It goes to human being. As a human being, there must be, you must be clothed by God-given rights to have privacy in terms of what data can be harvested from you, management of that data, custody of that data. But there is also a big question of national security. If we don't look at national security, we will expose ourselves to harmful effects that could very well undermine our security. And the question of mental health is real. We live with these children. Some of them are in rooms which we created for them. We've built those rooms, but they lock those rooms until they cannot be able to engage with us. They come at midnight to look for food, and sometimes they don't even ask their mothers, because they don't want to interact with us because we do not have a platform which is equal to them. But mental health, it's a big issue. Children are now struggling with issues of, self-harm. In those rooms, they can harm themselves, sometimes because of the content that they consume, and without regenerating it within the society. So there is the real problem of self-harm due to these materials. So you wonder the question, the legal question that I hear my colleagues asking, the duty of care. Where does the duty of care, which is a principle in issues of management of socio-economic affairs, the duty of care? It is a company in China, right? That company of China has done a wonderful platform that is now has gone across the globe. But does that company owe a duty of care to our children, right? So the question of that duty of care and the legal burden is on that company, the Chinese company, to explain to what extent would it be answerable to harmful issues of the platform that they have. In most jurisdictions, we have moved, we are not, and I'm glad the committee is not prescribing banning, because banning, for example, in India, that is what they do in India and in some of those, but they do it, and India is a very stable economy and a big economy, but they do it all the same. They have banned properly TikTok. They've just banned it because of national security and so on. But I am glad that we are not moving that direction. that we are moving in the direction of robust content moderation and regulatory control and oversight. We have to create an oversight deliberately to be able to monitor and to give our children things that are useful for them. I am told, I am not an expert on this, but Honorable Mugari tells me that there is something called filters. There is something which, there's a way in which they can filter this information so that not children, everybody, especially, for example, children under 16, should not be exposed to some of this. But again, they should also be exposed to education material, because they run those education material even on TikTok. Nowadays, we are CBC parents. We have come home and we are teaching children even through the TikTok. So we'd have to have a situation in which there are information which can be passed to a group of people, but cannot be reached by another group of people. African customary practice, you know, and this is something which we as a people and adults in us and parents in us must speak about this clearly, even at the expense of being very, of children saying that we are too conservative. In an African customary practice, children must obey their parents. It is biblical. And you must say it at home. Even if children don't like it, we must say it. That they must obey their parents, because we also obeyed our parents. And this is how we seem to be. Now, I see that leaders, give me a few moments, I put together this, I'll just be finishing in a few seconds. You know, leaders are abused everywhere. Young people have no regard to leaders. In fact, it is a virtue to speak negatively to a leader. It is a virtue to abuse your parents. It is a virtue to expose your parents even to some things which are, you know, sexual in nature, profane in nature, immoral things. They find it very laughable. African customary practice must be maintained, because I'm an African, because that is what I am, and I'm proud of it. We have to teach our children. They are not going to become Europeans. They are not going to be Chinese. They will still be Africans. So parents must speak with authority that...
1 minute, Honorable TJ.
We must speak by authority and say that there are things which cannot be done and things which must be done, because that is why we gave, we sired these children, and we are leaders for the time being until they become adults. So the question of cybersecurity, for example, the only thing that I wanted to bring out, I have seen recommendations made by the committee, but there is this recommendation saying in 280, for example, that Kenya Information and Communication be amended to mandate. I would have wished that you would have brought to us a text of amending that regulation inside this report, so that we just don't go back to the committee in charge of, we are going back again. You would have told us what section to add, so that we give the Communication Authority the power to be able to regulate this industry and to give us the content that we have. I think that because we have that constitutional mandate, so why are we still going around it? We should have come here and put in the report, and the next time we have a bill before us, so that we create an authority, we create a mandate within that authority to be able to regulate. I beg to second. Thank you so much.
Very well, honorable members, I therefore propose that this House adopts the report of the Public Petitions Committee on its consideration of the public petition number 41 of 2023 regarding regulation of TikTok in Kenya, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 25th September 2024. Minority Whip.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And I just want to thank the committee for bringing this petition. And Madam Speaker, I'll try to be very brief. Madam Speaker, with the advent of technology, we have seen many new positive ways of doing things, even though it also has brought in a lot of challenges. Madam Speaker, as we speak right now, because of technology, I'm actually contributing in Parliament, but I'm also in class because of technology. But Madam Speaker, I can also say that it has also brought, if you give an example of AI, that when we are actually doing work in class, we don't know how to navigate around issues even of AI. Madam Speaker, for instance, when you put in my names and particulars, my usual names and particulars, it actually appears as plagiarized because I'm all over on social media. So, and it's one of the things that we must, as a House, be able to deal with very quickly and very fast on how we deal with the technology. And I listened to Honorable TJ Kajwang talking also even on the issue of culture. And Madam Speaker, it is bringing very many challenging issues. For those of us who are born, who are now in our 50s and 40s, we have a totally different culture from the younger people. So when we speak about African culture, their culture is technological culture. For the younger people, their culture is technological, it's not African. And how do we then as a House deal with the issue that technology has brought to our doorsteps? How do we nurture and bring up our children within systems where other people, there's somebody in the US who is raising up your child through technology. And that is why we must be very brave as a House and confront some of the good things that it brings, but also deal, and we must deal very fast because technology changes very fast. And I'm glad that this person has raised, I know Bob Dolo, I'm glad that he's raised the issue of TikTok because a lot of the younger people are actually on TikTok. Madam Speaker, some of the good things that we have from TikTok is young people are able to socialize. Of course, it takes away, FaceTime, that we had some of us playing bladder, playing all manner of things. And these children no longer do that a lot because they are all in social media, they are all in TikTok. Madam Speaker, it also has provided employment for quite a number of Kenyans. For a long time, I didn't understand that. I'm very happy, I was sharing it elsewhere, that I've actually contributed a lot to employment because I am caricatured a lot on TikTok. And before I understood actually how it operated, I would call people and say, I just want to thank you very much because you have really promoted me. They said, Millie, they are making money off you. So when I saw that, I said, it's okay. Let them caricature me and make money out of me through TikTok. So it's a good thing, especially now that we have the issue of unemployment. Madam Speaker, it also provides civic engagement for the young people, which of course then can also, bring other challenges, like what we saw in 2024, that through civic engagement, young people were able to challenge Parliament, even on bills that we are passing. And then, of course, through TikTok and other social media platforms, they were able to even come right into Parliament. And Madam Speaker, those are, are challenging times for us. Madam Speaker, it's also an entertaining platform. It's a platform, information sharing and all that. But Madam Speaker, as a child protection expert, however, I just want to indicate that there are things that we cannot negotiate about. And we cannot negotiate about the issue of child protection. And for me, Madam Speaker, therefore it means that the issue of explicit sexual content cannot be made available to young people. And also there is predatory tendencies. I know that there are laws that are already providing for that, but we must be very clear about what age can access what information of young people. And Madam Speaker, it's not just explicit sexual content, but even a variety of things. For a lot of us, even in the Children Act, we talk about giving information to children depending on their evolving capacities. But in social media, we are not looking at children's evolving capacities. So we must be brave as a House, look at experts, look at, experts in this sector, look at experts in different sectors, because technology Now we look at issues of law, we look at issues of child protection, we look at issues of technology, and a myriad of other issues. So we must be brave and confront them every single time. I think we need to be looking at these issues almost every month on issues of technology. Madam Speaker, I think because I see my time is up, I just want to say we must be careful, however, not to gag. If you could just give me 1 second, Madam Speaker, to conclude.
1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to say that even if you see the way this has now been spoken about, the Russian person case, Madam Speaker, it also brings the issues of racism, because we need to speak to such issues, because there are people who want to exploit the vulnerability of poor African people by coming in here, seeing that women are so poor. People are thinking, and then because we have not nurtured and trained our people, that we are beautiful enough as black people, the moment you see a white person, you think that they are heaven on earth. And I want to challenge our women that we need to see our men in Kenya as good enough. Why we look at men in Africa, see them as good enough? Not everybody who is white is heaven on earth. I'm not saying white people, there's something wrong with white people, but we need to guard against certain forms of neo-colonization, where people come here and ridicule and shame African women and misuse them. If you have sex with somebody in private, why do you want to make it a public affair? It's not anybody's business. But that is why, Madam Speaker, I don't want to talk about the name regulation, because when you talk regulation, people misunderstand. But for sure, there are certain content that you do not reach us. Madam Speaker, I see nowadays, sometimes you just click on something, suddenly you see young children having sex in pools. How is that even possible? Certain things should not even be regulated against young people. It should not come to my page if I don't want to see it. So there are certain things we must be very brave as a house and confront these issues head on. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I support.
Very well. Honorable Murugara.
You have been. Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, also allow me to actually support the report by the committee and allowed the gentleman, Bob Ndolo, who brought this petition to us. Also allow me to allow the chairperson of the Committee on Public Petitions, Honorable Karemba, is here with me, and he's doing a good job. For a long time, we have had problems with that committee for reasons that possibly were known to all of us. But now the committee is on track, and Karemba is also a member of my committee, the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. He never misses even one meeting. At 10 o'clock, we are together, we start with him, we finish, and then he goes to public petitions, and he does it very well. Not that I think he needs to grow in Justice and Legal Affairs Committee too, where he's doing a good job. Madam Speaker, it is true we should not ban TikTok as one of the social media arms of communication. I may not know a lot about it simply because my age doesn't allow me to know some of these things that happen with our little children out there. But from what I have heard about TikTok and what I know it does to young people, there is absolute need for us to regulate it. We can do this through statute, or we can go to our ICT Act, amend it, the Communications Act, amend it, and we have regulations that will actually guide us on how this branch of social media is going to be handled. The stakeholders who came to this particular petition were all candid that there is need for regulation. Not even one would advocate for saving it away from a ban without regulation. Because if we don't regulate it, then we ban it. And there are some positive aspects of TikTok, including the youngsters who actually say in their language that they are content creators, which content they create and they post it on TikTok, and through whatever means, I don't know what it is, they are able to earn some money. And we agree that with the degree of unemployment in our country, it behoves on us to ensure that available money is tapped and used for the benefit of our youths. However, we should not derogate from our responsibility. As Honorable T.J. Kajwang has said, we are Africans and we must protect our culture and the cultural practices. Those practices include taking care of our children, giving them advice, admonishing them when need be, so that we are able to grow children, nurture children who are actually responsible citizens in this country. So here comes the government making certain recommendations through the chairperson of the Petitions Committee, which recommendations are useful and which we should actually support, so that as we use the internet, as we use ICT and the other modes of communication, then we do not expose our children to danger. We must also not abrogate our responsibilities as parents. As you hear Honorable TJ saying, these youngsters come home to the rooms we've set aside for them, lock themselves in there. You don't know what they are doing, and you don't hear or see them until the wee hours of the night. And that cannot be a virtue. I think we should be more, as parents, involved in the growth of our children, so that we bring up responsible citizens away from some of these vices which come to us through TikTok and other applications we find on the internet. Therefore, I do support the recommendation by Honorable Karemba that we should regulate TikTok for the good of our country. I support.
Very well. Honorable Andeto.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to also contribute to this very important motion, and to say that from the onset I support the sentiments of the committee. Madam Speaker, we live in a very lucky generation. In one generation, we have seen the advent of the internet, the smartphone, social media, and now AI. Madam Speaker, just to remind you that the World Wide Web, as we know it, is just a 1991 invention. So as a generation, we are very lucky. And these inventions have fundamentally reshaped how we live, how we parent, how we govern, and even how power is exercised, just like we saw in this country, in 2024. Madam Speaker, even thinking about banning TikTok would raise a few fundamental issues. One of it, Madam Speaker, is that this would be a complete violation of our Constitution, which guarantees freedom of expression. And Madam Speaker, even if we were to ban TikTok, we would need to ban all the others, because the youth will just move to the other platform and to the other platforms. And also, from a technical point of view, I know that there are very many workarounds. The same way people in China today use WhatsApp, although it's banned. People in India are using TikTok, although it's banned, because there's always technical workarounds around these things. The second thing, Madam Speaker, is the economic opportunity that we would be sacrificing through such a ban. It is important to note that TikTok, and indeed all other social media platforms.
Honorable Wandeto, would you like to be informed by Honorable Mushomba?
I don't wish to be informed.
Continue
unless
then.
you insist.
Continue, do not expound on it. Just
Thank you.
accept or not.
Madam Speaker, the second issue is the opportunity, for revenues. Today we know that hundreds, if not, hundreds of thousands of our youth, and not just youth, including older people, are now deriving economic opportunity from the use of social media. And this has come in handy in an economy or a government that doesn't seem to have very good ideas on how to create jobs for the youth. The third one, Madam Speaker, is the economic opportunity. Today, just in this House, we passed the digital taxes, which now we have some of the multinationals that are in this social media platform, and even indeed some of our digital content creators, joining the formal economy and paying taxes. So, Madam Speaker, what we need to think about is strengthening regulation. Because as Kenya, we cannot go the route of countries such as Somalia, which I know has banned TikTok, countries such as Iran, countries such as Afghanistan and the rest, which are extreme cases which Kenya cannot borrow from. I think we should focus on three things, Madam Speaker. The first one is strengthen regulation. And the data protection, the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner needs to be strengthened to be able to have teeth to bite some of these companies when they are not properly moderating content. I am aware companies like Meta and even TikTok itself have local offices with moderators who basically are always looking at what our people are posting, and they are always checking and moderating what is happening. The second one, Madam Speaker, is we need to start a curriculum to also teach our children how to navigate this new world that we find ourselves in. So how do we ensure that we introduce part of the curriculum, mental health issues, even taken to our institution, so that our people also do not suffer a new addiction called social media. So, Madam Speaker, I will conclude by saying that we should not even think of banning. What we need to do is to strengthen regulation and governance around social media. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity.
Very well said. And just to guide you, Honorable Member Forteto, this report does not say ban. It actually says regulate. Yes, just to be on record. Honorable members, just to guide you, you have 5 minutes. Kindly arrange your thoughts so that you take the 5 minutes. I am seeing like you're being caught off guard, thinking it's 10 minutes. The next chance will go to Professor, member for Moiben, Professor Barto. What is happening to Professor? You have two microphones. Okay, now one.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also make my contribution on this motion on the consideration of TikTok banning or not banning in Kenya. And I want to laud the committee for such a very elaborate presentation on TikTok. And Madam Speaker, I think it's not just in Kenya where we are grappling with such an issue. I think it is world over. Countries like America, USA, China, India, I think it's just a debate which is world over. And Madam Speaker, it takes me down memory lane once upon a time when the issue of mobile phones started, and also the issue of computers. And everybody was wondering how the world would be, how the future would be, and it became a big challenge, but now it is behind us. Phones are with us, computers are with us. I think perhaps what we need is a robust social media regulation in its entirety, so that we can comp out everything which affects us in its entirety in as far as social media. Madam Speaker, the other day I was looking through a PhD thesis for one of my students, and I sat down with a big document the whole day, and my son came and he was like, "What have you read in the entire day? What is it that you are looking for?" So I said, "I'm examining this thesis," and he said, "Can I have the evaluation tool?" I gave him the evaluation tool in soft copy and the thesis in soft copy, and within 5 minutes, he gave me an entire report on what I was writing. And surprisingly, it was almost similar with what I was doing. So I sat down and said, okay, how analog am I? I mean, these things are moving faster, and And that is even what is happening in our classrooms. Even the National Examination Council now is having also challenges on how to examine our students. Even in the universities, in lecture halls, it's becoming a big challenge. It's a debate which we need not just do a superficial work, but we go deeper, because it is going to be there with us, and it is going to be there for a long time. And we are members of parliament, and it is in parliament where we make laws. So it is upon us now to sit down and come up with regulations, come up with laws which govern this media in its entirety, without also infringing on the Chapter 4 of the Constitution on the Bill of Rights, because it's also another story. So what we need to look at is maybe to censor content, look at the content and censor, protect minorities like, vulnerable people like children who become all the time victims of media, because it is not possible, or it has reached a stage where it's not possible to manage young people, even if you are a parent. Like for me, I can be a mother and I have my kids, and there are some things, it reaches a time when they will just say, Mom, you can't go beyond here, even if they are my children. So we need to put in place structures, maybe come up with a procedure on how to handle this, and that's what I said, a robust social media policy, and make it work for everyone. Look at even how to monetize it so that people can make money, and look at it positively, other than misusing it and maybe creating explicit content which is not good for our children, which is not good for us. I think if well regulated, it is going to take us to another level. It is not bad. It is something whose time has come, and it is high time we sit down and we look at it and see how we can benefit, and how it can boost communication and content creation, money making, everything. I think regulating it is going on the right direction, because it is going to be there with us for a long time, and we cannot run away from it. It is something which is not bad. It is good. It's own.
Very well. Honorable Dr. Makali Mulu.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to join colleagues in supporting this report of the committee. Honorable Speaker, I first of all want to thank the petitioner and thank the committee for changing the thing from banning to regulating the issue of TikTok. Honorable Speaker, I think many of us have said it would be unconstitutional if we were to ban, and it's good that now we are talking about regulation. But all said and done, Honorable Speaker, I think there are benefits associated with TikTok, even as we talk about the bad things to do with the TikTok. One of them is sharing information, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you realize that within a very short time, information is able to move from one corner of this country to the other corner through TikTok within a very short time. At the same time, Honorable Speaker, I've realized that very many of our young people are actually making money out of this. And this is good for the economy because of the level of unemployment. Most of our people have gone to school, they have several degrees in their pockets, but they're not able to access any form of employment or genuine employment. So anytime they're able to make any coin from this TikTok, I think it's something worth supporting. The other thing I've also discovered, Honorable Speaker, because TikTok also brings some pictures, and that helps most of our people also to get to know who is who in terms of leaders and all that. But all said and done, there are also some negative parts of it, and that's why I support the word regulate. And I really wish that we become more serious on regulation, because as Honorable Kajwang did say, I think we still remain Africans. And as Africans, there are things which are not part of our culture. It is not part of our culture, Honorable Speaker, to see people in their natural suit, irrespective of where. Whether you are an old man, whether you're a young person, we don't expect Kenyans to do things when they are in a natural suit. And I think that's something really, to me, anytime I look at those things, I feel bad as an African. So I think we need to encourage our people and tell them that at the end of the day, we still remain Africans. It's good to admire foreign culture, but we must realize that those things look unique to us, look funny when our parents, when our elders see these things. So the issue of regulating, Honorable Speaker, is a matter we really want to support, and I think we need to empower our bodies which can do that regulation, so that the content which goes out there, Honorable Speaker, even if they say make money, is also in line with our culture, and we don't really get this thing blown out of proportion. So I totally support regulation. What I don't know is who is supposed to do that, and I think as we move to the future, I know we have the Communication Authority in Kenya and all that, but Honorable Speaker, you realize, even in the past, we have said there are movies which have been shown on television, on cinema halls, which should not be screened on the basis of age. I don't know what we'll do to ensure that we factor in the age element, because to me what is critical is age. There are things as honorable member can see, and I will not mind. There are things which my son will see, and he might not be comfortable with that. There are things which my mother, who is elderly, would see, and she cannot believe. She would think this is a culture shock. So all these things, Honorable Speaker, I think what we need to do is we need to come up with a system whereby we can filter this information so that the information get to the right different age groups is the right information. If we do that, Honorable Speaker, I think we'll be safe and home. At times, you see very young children. You know these days that I think is part of the upbringing, that anytime you go to a home, you find for the young ones to be fed, they are given a phone. They are in the cartoons or watching those things, Honorable Speaker. And what is happening at times, you might be surprised with the kind of the content, because the content is not restricted. So we are saying basically let's come up with a very strict way of restricting the content. And if we do that, Honorable Speaker, we will be taking care of the advantages of TikTok and also taking care of the disadvantages, or what I call content which should not be publicly be screened to every handout or to every young person. With those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mayaka. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also stand.
Naongea na nani?
Yes, Jen, tuko hapo kwako tunakata stima. Hii bili yako hujalipa.
Ai, kwani mnakata stima on a Friday afternoon?
Yes, madam. Tunafanya kazi kila siku, lakini usikuwe na wasiwasi. Hapa tunaweza saidia.
When the deal is too good, think twice.
Lakini kitu moja inanishangaza na wewe.
Hii ni kuhatarisha maisha yenu nyi wenyewe na pia ya wale mnaenda kutokea kwa manyumba zao.
We are diving into the mind.
Stay vigilant to get safely and legally connected to the power grid.
Koti hii imewapata na hatia, na mkiwa mkuridhika na uamuzi wa koti, mko na siku 14 za kurudisha apili.
Na kama kuna mtu anakupigia akidai ati kwamba uko na deni, kata hiyo simu haraka.
Oh, kumbe mlikuwa mnataka tu mfone.
Tumekuja kuwashika. Buda boss utamulikwa. Tumekuja kuwashika.
Ngine watasema
ni kuspoil after job.
Sile mtaniharibu na yuko ni spoil.
Nani mwingine anakuspoil after job?
Ona, si wacha mimi nirudi job, tutaongea baadaye.
Old friend, wewe sio mtu mzuri. Huyu ameambiwa nini huko ndani?
Mbona usifungue tu kaduka kako mjini?
Ndio watu wa tax wakikuja niwaambie nini?
Unaweza enda mimi baki na Matilda.
Na ukienda kwa Big Mama, urudi nyumbani mapema.
Mbona unapenda kuegemea upande wa Elijah na familia yake hivyo? Usiweke kitu chochote pale, kwa sababu agreement haizungumzi hivyo. We, huyu ndio chief anajaribu kusaidia.
Sasa yuko na tu pesa.
Pesa ibadilishi kitu. Tuje kabla fikia.
Naona sana.
Elijah.
Mama Josh, naomba nipe dakika 2-3 kidogo niongee na Josh. Nikiingia huku ndani sitopata chochote.
When did you start to marry
kids?
When did I start?
When did you start to marry kids?
I don't marry kids. I marry mature women.
Who brought you that child, my daughter?
Who brought you that my daughter?
Hey, who brought you? Wewe ndio unachifanya vile unachua sana.
Sijifanye.
Wewe ni pipi yangu.
Arda.
Anakuuliza wewe ni pipi yangu.
Mimi siwezi kuwa bibi yako.
Very good. Kuna mtoto yako tulipeana.
Si ni wewe ulikula deposit ya mtoto.
Si wewe na hiyo mtomo yako ukiniambia tuoze huu mtoto tupate pesa.
Mimi saa ngapi?
Kawena.
Mwezi mimi wangu atarake muntoke ngakiringanga.
Wewe mzee, mko na watoto wangapi? Wewe na huyu bibi yako.
Mko na watoto nani?
Na
Allah alimwamuru ajenge safina kubwa ambayo aliweza kuwaingiza binadamu na pia wanyama. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala aliteremsha mvua na mafuriko makubwa ambayo yaliweza kuwasomba wale wote waliokuwa hawajapanda kwenye jahazi lile.
Ni mambo gani ukiwa nayo kama mwanadamu utakuwa umepata faida kubwa hapa duniani na kesho akhera?
Na ikukataze maovu. Alhasru, jipambe na tabia njema, kusema ukweli, kuwa na rahma, we mtu wa kusamehe. Alhasru, mtu mwenye kutoa ile amana, kujipamba na tabia njema.
Masjid ni kitovu cha mshikamano, ni mahali ambapo familia nzima hukutana, vijana hujifunza stadi za maisha na watoto hukua wakilelewa katika misingi ya imani.